Hi everyone, this is Nadia from Chen Admissions, and I hope you all can hear me okay. And welcome to Chen Admissions' first China's online career fair opportunities for international talents in China. So I hope everybody is having a good day today, and I hope this session onwards will be very useful for you. But before we move further, I'd like to let you know that this event is supported by App in China, Hello Career, Beehive, Mart, the dot connector, and also SOSV China Accelerator. And a little bit information before we go any further is the people behind this event. So this event is held by China Admissions. And then my name is Nadia. Again, I'm Nadia from China Admissions, and I'm a part of China Admissions for sure. So what exactly is China Admissions? China Admissions is an award-winning platform for international students to apply to Chinese universities. And we partner with over 200 of top Chinese universities, and we have over 150,000 registered students on our platform. And our team came from different background. Most of us came from different countries. I myself, I came from Indonesia, and I got our founder came from UK, and other colleagues are coming from different part of the world, like China, from Malaysia, from Philippines, from Rwanda, from Cameroon, and others. So it's a pretty multicultural team, and we're also excited to share with you about the opportunities in China for international talents. And then this is a little bit glance of our platform, China Admissions, where you can use our platform to apply to Chinese universities that you want. And then if you need any further information or any further help about applying to Chinese universities, you can let us know as well. I'll give you the contact information at the end. And then this is some of our partner universities, and there are two of them that will be also joining today's event. So today's event is actually our first ever online because we had the similar event before in Beijing, roughly about a month ago in June. And then we decided that we wanted to spread this information to more and more students, to more and more participants, especially because not everybody is in China. That's why we decided to go live. We decided to go online so more and more participants can join and can benefit from this event and can benefit from the sharings that the speakers are going to share today. And then this is basically the event schedule for today. So we have I believe we have 8 speakers today that will be presenting. And then 6 of them are international talents working in China, and then 2 of them are from the university. So one is from Shanghai Jiaotong University Global EBA program, and the other one is from BLCU, Beijing Language and Culture University Online Education College. So one of the reasons why we also invited the universities today to join this event is because we do believe that not only you can benefit from all the sharings, like all the experiences shared by the other speakers, but the 2 programs that were shared today by Shanghai Jiaotong University Global EBA Program and also BLCU Online Education College, they have 2 different online programs that they will share the information with you. And we do believe that these programs will be beneficial for you, and this program will be useful for you in case you'd like to come and study in China, or in case you'd like to come and work in China. So we hope that you will benefit from this event, and then I'll introduce a little bit of our guest speakers today. So the first one is James Ashcroft, who is the Chief Talent Officer of App in China, and then we have Yiswan Heather Lee, who is the founder, PR, and business consultant of the Dot Connector, and then we have Jonathan Lopez, the Schwarzman Scholar at Tsinghua University. We also will have Hiro Efram, the analyst at China Accelerator SOSV. We have Jack Guo from Global eBay program, Shanghai Jiaotong University. And then we also have Shirley Feligas, the Overseas Digital Marketing Manager at Mart. And then we have Petrus Jocaris, co-founder and curator at Beehive. We will have Marina Chao, the talent acquisition consultant leader of the Hello Career Beijing team. And last but not least, we will have Angela Chen from Beijing Language and Culture University Online Education College. So I do Hope that this session today will bring a lot of information, a lot of useful information for you, especially from the sharings from all the speakers and also all the informations they'll share. So without further ado, I'll invite our first speaker for today, James, to share more about his experiences.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nadia. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you, James.
Excellent. So first of all, big thank you to the China admissions team. I'm very honored to be invited back to speak at this event for a second time. So in my section of the talk today, I'm going to speak a little bit about a self-introduction, kind of how I've ended up in China and what I've been doing here. Briefly share on what I'm up to at the moment with my company app in China and the opportunities for some of you listening maybe to apply and to get involved because we're hiring a lot of people right now. And then finally, to share a little bit of general reflections for how you can kind of build a career in China as an international talent. So if that sounds good to you guys, first of all, we'll start with that self-introduction. So my name is James. I'm a dual UK-US citizen. Grew up in a bunch of different places around the world. I was born in France, moved to the US when I was 6, to the UK when I was 11, and then came to China for the first time, age 21, in 2015. I think there's actually very little intentional about what happened with my China journey in particular. I studied history for my undergraduate at University College London at UCL. And in the course of those 3 years, I mostly focused on European history, but I did decide at one stage that it would be good to branch out and to try other things. So there were actually two new professors joining that year, one who was due to teach a class on the history of urban Africa and one on the history of ancient and medieval China. And I've shared this story many times with my friends. It's true, cheesy as it sounds, but I did actually flip a coin, and that coin flip proved to be pretty consequential because, of course, it landed on China, and here I am today. So how did that kind of unfold? Well, I really enjoyed the course. I developed a great relationship with my professor and took her class again in my final year at UCL. And she recommended me for this program, the Yenching Academy, which was due to launch at Peking University the following year. So this is a graduate scholarship for Chinese and international students at Beida. I sort of applied as one of many options, but although I'd been very fortunate to grow up all over the world as a child, I'd never been to Asia at all, let alone China in particular. But I had enjoyed studying China. It was something that interested me, but I never really imagined that I would get the scholarship, let alone take it, because there were other things that I was looking at, not least the first job in my career working as a management consultant at Deloitte in London. So I actually had an offer already from Deloitte. And in the end, when I found out that I had been selected for the Yenching scholarship, Deloitte were kind enough to let me defer. So this is actually quite important in my China journey, not only because, of course, it allowed me to come to the country for the first time, but because it very much conditioned my attitude to the year that I spent here. Unlike many of my classmates at Yenching, at Beida, I knew that I was leaving. Deloitte had allowed me to defer by 1 year, but I knew that at the end of that time, I would be coming back to London. So I didn't really enter into that year with the intention to network, to find opportunities for a job, even really to study Chinese. I think the main objectives for me were to learn as much about the country as possible. It's a very important country and will only become more important in our lifetimes. So that was very much the attitude that I brought into it. That was one of my goals. I knew that I would be studying with a really bright and interesting cohort of Chinese and international students from all over the world. So getting to know them better and making lasting connections was certainly a goal of mine. And in the course of the year there, I found that actually getting involved extracurricularly at the university, trying to help develop the Yenching Academy as a program, and later beginning to learn Chinese was something that I valued. But it wasn't actually until I was back in London working at that job at Deloitte between 2016 and 2018 that I realized that there was really more that I wanted to achieve in China. So this is kind of the stage in my adult development that led me to where I am now. I felt that I had linguistic ambitions that I wanted to fulfill. And I think that's very important. And we'll come on to that, for what that has enabled me to do in my time in China. And I felt that there were also experiential ambitions. I'd lived on the campus at Peking University, but I wanted to have the experience of having, my own Chinese apartment, to see other parts of the city. For any of you who are in Beijing or maybe have been here before, you'll know that Haidian, the university district in the northwest, is not very well connected to a lot of the life of the city. So I kind of wanted to experience more of that. And so Deloitte, again, continuing to treat me extremely well, gave me the opportunity to take a sabbatical from my job. The intention was to come back to China to study Chinese very intensively for 1 year and to try to get to a level that I was more satisfied with, and then to go back to London and to continue my career. In the year that I spent at Tsinghua at the IUP program, which some of you may have heard of, I made tremendous progress and reached a very good level of Chinese, but it wasn't quite as far as I wanted to go. So in the end, I made the difficult decision to give up my job back in London, which was no easy thing to do because, Deloitte is a great company. They had treated me very well. I was learning a lot, and London is my favorite city in the world. But I did feel that at this moment, it was important to keep pressing on because I'd already, in a certain way, interrupted my career to take a break to invest in learning. I wasn't sure if I decided to go back to London, how easy it would be to do that again. Sometimes you just have to seize the moment, and I do think that taking those opportunities when they appear in front of you and embracing that sense of serendipity, that sense of chance, is really key to thriving in China, because this is a country, this is a place where I just feel that my personal rate of development, personal and professional development, is much higher than it is back home. And I think it's something that definitely keeps me here. I think it's something that one encounters opportunities here of such breadth in a way that back home I just don't find. So I decided to quit the job to continue studying Chinese. I took up a Chinese government scholarship at Beihida, at Beijing Normal University. But part of the risk in that too was that I didn't know at the time that I would even get the scholarship. When I quit the job, I still had to wait 2 or 3 months to find out. Fortunately, it worked out. But that year at Beihida, as many of us have experienced, was interrupted by the coronavirus. So that kind of, I ended up quitting that program. I felt that the experience of learning Chinese online in a group class, was just not really for me. I had been fortunate to already receive a job offer from ByteDance, from TikTok, just a couple months before the coronavirus. And so I set about transferring my visa and getting started there. I spent a year working at ByteDance and then left in April of this past year, which takes me to the startup that I work at now, which is App in China. So App in China is the leading publisher of non-gaming software, international software in China. The company was founded in 2013, but has really been running kind of full time, with the CEO actually, giving all of his time to this since 2018. And in that time, the company has grown 10x. It has doubled its revenue every year for the past 3 years without taking any external investment. And now we've reached a level of kind of stable gross revenue and net profit that we're looking to significantly expand the team from about 14 or 15 people, hopefully up to about 30 people by this time next year, which is potentially where there may be some opportunities for you guys. I believe Ian may be able to share the link to our careers page and also to my personal LinkedIn profile in the group chat. If not, you can search for my name, James Ashcroft, on LinkedIn and come find me. Mention that you attended this and you'd like to learn more. We're hiring for 9 different positions. You don't need to be a Chinese speaker to be eligible for all of them. Some of them do just require English, but certainly any bright Chinese speaking people on this call today, you'd be most welcome. It's a very important skill, of course, doing business in China. So moving on to the final portion of the presentation, and of course I'd be happy to answer questions on that later, or if you guys contact me directly. But in terms of getting into China, I've already seen some questions in the chat about when the borders will be relaxed, how to get in here, visas, and all that kind of stuff. The reality is that we can't give an answer to that. It's very uncertain. I do think that I think many people would agree it's unlikely to become significantly easier anytime soon because the Beijing Olympics will be running, until March of next year. But just because you can't get into the country doesn't mean that you can't do things to better prepare yourself or make yourself more attractive. I do think that uh, investing in relevant learning opportunities, doing online courses is always valuable. But I think especially for a career in China, my top tip would be to invest in studying Chinese. I don't think that you need to reach HSK 6 or beyond some incredibly fluent level, but I think if for those of you who have an interest and have the time to dedicate to it, if you are able to achieve a level around about HSK 5, for instance, I do think that that dramatically improves your employability in China, because you might not be able to speak Chinese to a level at which you are you know pitching to clients, or being the sole face of the company, in negotiations or anything like that, but you can functionally speak Chinese in a work environment. You can read and send Chinese emails, all this kind of stuff. And when you bring other skills, your perspective as an international student, as an international person, your native English, the other languages which you may speak, I think that level of Chinese is really, really useful. So I would certainly do that. And I think the other thing too to say is that a lot of people find it very difficult to get a job here in the first place because they don't know anyone. We're now in an age where it's possible, even welcomed, to attend Zoom events like this and to network. So just because you're not in China doesn't mean that you can't begin meeting people who are here, begin, get their WeChat, see if you can ask them out for a virtual coffee, pick their brains. Maybe you can find an opportunity through one of them or through a friend of a friend. If they get to know you better when, perhaps someone like me or someone like them is hiring, you'll be the person that comes to mind. It is tricky with the visas right now, but it's not impossible, and it is hopefully going to get easier. So I would think very critically about what you can do to better qualify yourself for a job in China. Look through JDs and see what are people like me or other companies looking for, because it's more diverse than you think. I think a lot of foreigners think that the only job that they can get here is as an English teacher. It's true that that's most common and that is the easiest way into China, but it's not the only way. And I think the final piece of advice that I would give, because I've seen it with so many of my friends, bright people with excellent educational and professional backgrounds, they have not necessarily been able to get the job that they wanted straight up, but they had to do something that they were less happy with for a period of time. I have friends who work at the embassy, friends who work in you know, think tanks or whatever else. And they may have started doing a series of part-time jobs or doing education consulting or doing whatever. It's not to demean or undervalue those careers in their right, but it's not right for everyone. Sometimes the way to get into China is just to get into the country, to get that visa, to begin to build some work experience here, to deepen those connections that maybe you've made via WeChat or Zoom or whatever else. But I think if there's one lesson that I've learned since joining this startup, especially from my CEO, Rich, and this is very much a kind of entrepreneurial mindset, just don't accept no as an answer. I think I like to think that I'm a pretty good problem solver and I will try different things. But one of the things that I've come to most admire about my CEO is no matter how many things we try, there's always one more thing that he wants to try to do. Even if we can't get 100% of what you want, try one more time, try it in a different way, see if we can get 50% of what we were looking for from this person. You need to eke every advantage and opportunity out of the different channels that are available to you. If you're outside of China, those channels might be more limited, but it doesn't mean that you can't find a great job in China. So I hope that has been a helpful perspective to hear. Very happy to answer more questions later on or by messaging me directly. But thank you guys for your time and looking forward to the next speaker.
Hi, thanks, James. So I think we still have 3 minutes left if you don't mind answering some questions, because there are some of the participants asking questions for you.
Be very happy to. Would you like me to look at the Q&A directly, or do you want to pick some questions?
Yeah, I can pick some of it for you. So the first one is, what was the transition like going from a Chinese massive tech company like ByteDance to a smaller startup work environment? So does it feel like a two completely different worlds?
Yeah, it is very different, and not just because of ByteDance, because actually my entire career up to this point has been in large corporates. I mean, Deloitte is one of the largest consulting companies in the world. We had nearly 20,000 people working in the London office. So, to go to a company with just 14 or 15 people is a big change. I think there are several things that you need to look out for. Of course, there are a ton of positives. You have more autonomy. You have potentially not necessarily greater, but different development opportunities. But I would say two things that you need to be mindful of is how suitable you are from that environment, in terms of if you're working at a ByteDance, a TikTok, a Deloitte, a big company like this, there will be specialist people to look after so many different parts of the functioning of the business that you really just have to do your job. In a startup environment, even things like you purchase an online subscription to something, and then you need to get print it out, stamp it, and send the invoice back to there was someone who did this for us at ByteDance or Deloitte. It's a minor administrative example, but you can't complain about that. You just need to roll up your sleeves and do it. If you don't know how to solve a problem, if you don't know what the best way of doing something is, there might not be someone working in the company who's responsible for that or has any experience. The answer is you need to Google it. So that's one thing. And I think the other one, and it's not untrue of large companies as well, of course, you managing human connections and is fundamental to success in your life, both personal and professional. But when you're in such a small work environment, I do think that you need to be very mindful of the kind of organic chemistry that exists there to begin with. When you join, you are, as a percentage, a much larger portion of that company than you would be somewhere else. So I think you need to be a little bit more patient and mindful to spend some time understanding what is the social dynamic, what is the culture of that company, and see how you can fit into that, how you can make a contribution. But you don't want to be stepping on toes or doing anything like that. I'm not advocating being too cautious, but you should be aware that it's a small team is a much more personally intimate working environment. So do look out for that. But yeah, it's been a big transition, but it's been a good one.
Cool. Yeah, again, thanks a lot, James, for joining today. And you've been a part of this event in Beijing and also now the online version of this event. So would like to thank you a lot for sharing your experience again of studying at Peking University up until now you are the Chief Talent Officer up in China.
My pleasure. Excited to hear the next speakers.
Right. Thank you, James.
Thanks, guys.
Right. So now we have Heather, which is the founder and PR business consultant at the Dot Connector.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Heather, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, hi everyone. It's great to be here and good to see many familiar faces. And yeah, thanks for inviting me for the panel. And yeah, it's a great opportunity to discuss on employment opportunities for international students in China, because it's something that I have also been paying attention to in the last couple of years. So also a quick introduction. My name is Heather. I'm from Beijing, and I founded the Dot Connector as a platform to connect China and Africa talents and tech ecosystems 2 years ago. So I came back from the US where I studied for my college, and then my first job in Beijing was actually with Jing Jobs, and I see Marina was also on the panel. So I think that was an opportunity for me to understand the talent market in China, because I know as a overseas returnee, there's always a little bit reverse culture shock when you come back to your own country and you realize things might have changed. So in the beginning, I took some time to understand the job market here, what people are looking for in cross-cultural talents, especially Chinese companies and also foreign startups. So yeah, in my first 1 or 2 years in Beijing, I was very lucky to have a lot of networking opportunities to meet international students in Beijing who are in different schools in Haidian and Wudao, and just see how transition into career later in their life. Yeah, so I wanted to, because my focus was mostly on China, Africa, when I first noticed that there is a little bit of gap between there are so many international students in China, but I think the job market might not always be so equipped for it. So a lot of my friends, after they graduate, they have to go back to their own country, or during COVID, so many of my friends were stuck outside, or people were looking for opportunities to come back to China. So I think I wanted to explore a bit more, and especially for for a lot of the African friends that I had, and I wanted to see how to bridge the gap for their education and also their job opportunities afterwards. So I think 2 years ago, there was a lot of hype in entrepreneurship in the startup community. And and also I think a lot of young African talents in technology. And that's a trend that I have seen growing on the African market and also in China. So I definitely think that's a great opportunity to tap into as our world becomes more normalized and the borders are open again. So I'm working in PR consultant right now, and I have worked with several Chinese companies and also foreign startups. And I think and also I was running the China Digital Talent Group. It's a network in across Shanghai and Beijing. We share a lot of job opportunities in the digital industry, and we're a growing community of thousands of people, and there are hundreds of hires confirmed in the group. So in the past, I've hosted meetups and providing social networking opportunities for people to meet their potential employers in a more casual setting, because I think that's very important. To have some informal relationships before you apply for the job or enter into the workplace, because then it's gonna give you an overview, a preview of how the work is going to be like, and build relationships in a less stressful environment than just going to the HR. Like you will have opportunities to meet some of the decision makers. And I think in China, there were like many networking opportunities for Chinese professionals and also overseas talents. So I think definitely utilize those opportunities will be very important. And I think this whole year of COVID, a lot of like international talents were not able to come back. But at the same time, I think there's still a lot of demand in the job market. Just because people are not physically in the country doesn't mean that you are not desirable, because a lot of Chinese companies are looking into expanding overseas. And I have seen so many jobs targeting on specific country markets in the last few years. And I think Chinese companies now are much more international, and the leadership and the organization culture is also slowly shifting to a more globalized culture. So yeah, I think those are great opportunities. Even if you're in your own country, I think you can start by like seeing what you can offer, what insights and knowledge that you have about your local market that could be potentially beneficial for your Chinese employer in the future. So maybe while you're in your country, you can reach out to some Chinese companies, and because like so many times I applied for jobs here that are not posted on the website, the JD was not ready, but because they see something that you are offering, they're willing to open up a job for you. So I think that's something you can look into. Just to create your own job opportunity and learn Chinese, because Chinese is very important in almost all the jobs that I have seen for foreigners. So yeah, I think those are the more essential things that I wanted to talk about. But also I think there are so many opportunities like local governments and universities are providing for international students. So when you're in China, definitely don't limit yourself and don't just like stay in your own circle, and trying to branch out more. And China's market is huge. And even I have realized what I learned in the first like 2 or 3 years back in China was nothing comparing to like the last 2 years, because just seeing how like the country is developing so fast. And and I think definitely try to utilize the governmental connections or schools resources, and look into starting your own company as well while you're here, and just see like what policies are supporting you. And try to be a bit more strategic and make a plan. And I think also a lot of my friends are English teachers, and I don't think there is anything wrong about being an English teacher. And I think that's like a very respectful profession. And if you want to make the career transition after being an English teacher, I think it also gives you like a lot of time and flexibility and stability. So even when you're teaching English, you can try to get skills elsewhere, video editing, social media, and just put yourself out there. And I think, yeah, there's really a lot to explore. And if you are interested in going back to your own country, and I think because so many people are in China, but they don't really have a long-term plan. It's kind of like, let's see how it goes. And then like year pass on. And I think if you want to go back to your own country, you can also have an exit plan, and just trying to see how you can utilize your experience here and how it could be beneficial to create jobs in your own country. Because maybe not everyone, like China, maybe is a transition for a lot of people. So keep it in mind that you might have to go home and there's nothing you're losing. You're only gaining your experience here, resources, and just try to link it to wherever you're going next. That's what I have to share, and welcome any questions.
Hi, Heather. Thank you for the sharing. Yes, there are some questions for you. I think students are, all the participants are pretty much very excited with having you here. So let me check the questions. Right, so the first one is related to, because I noticed that your work is pretty much related to China and Africa relation, right? So there is a student, there is a participant asking that he's now in Ghana. Do you have any opportunities for those outside of China? So maybe can you share a little bit of tips of like the applicants from African, especially, like what are the tips or what should they prepare or what should they expect coming to China or like especially working in China?
Yeah, I think just definitely do your research if you're interested in coming back to China, coming to China. Look up for the Chinese companies that has operations in your country, because I've searched for a Chinese company in Africa, especially in Ghana, because that's actually where I'm preparing for my career transition. I'd like to work in Ghana very soon. But yeah, I looked up for the Chinese company that has offices in Ghana and Nigeria. Go meet them in the office, because I think maybe in Ghana or like in Nigeria, you can like just yeah, it's easier to like go meet them, and I think they would really value it, because a lot of the Chinese products, they really need talents to help them localize it to the markets, and you'll be a very valuable asset and just show initiative, and yeah, I think you would have a lot to offer.
Right. There's another question. So what entrepreneurial tricks have you discovered to keep you focused and productive in your day-to-day busy schedule?
Yeah, because I think for me, I also like didn't really intend to be an entrepreneur when it just happened. So I think for me, like getting inspirations from other people is very important for me, like just seeing what someone else is doing and see how you can apply it in your own practice, and always, yeah, looking to learn and treating everything as an opportunity to learn.
Cool. Right. So there's another one is, oh, so another participant is asking for your LinkedIn profile. So I think Heather will definitely share it later. And then, so everybody, if you want to connect with Heather or if you want to connect with the dot connector, you can connect with them.
Can I add one thing?
Yes,
Nadia,
I'll send it.
Yeah, sure. Sure, James.
Just one thing that Heather said, I think is really important. I mean, all of it was, but there was one point in particular about, sometimes you have to go back to your home country, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people start their careers, in some kind of way in China as a student. And I did go back to London, but the fact that I worked in London for 2 years actually made it easier for me to start my career in China, because having 2 years of work experience makes it easier to get the visa. So in a certain kind of way, I was actually making myself, more employable or make it easier to get the visa by not being here. I didn't maybe think of it in those terms at the time, but be aware that you can still be increasing your chances even when you're outside of the country. Super good point, Heather.
Thanks.
Right. So again, thank you, Heather, for your sharing and also for your presentation. And guys, if you'd like to stay connected with Heather, we will share her LinkedIn profile and also the link to the dot connector so you can stay connected with them. Thank you. And now we'll have the next speaker coming up. Now we'll have the next speaker coming up with Jonathan, who is Jonathan Lopez. I think it might take a little while more for Jonathan to connect to the Zoom, right? So I think if Hiro Efram, if you're ready, I think we can go to your presentation first, and then we can reconnect with Jonathan after your presentation.
Sounds good. Happy to start. Okay. So everyone can hear me, right? Am I audible? Awesome, perfect. Yeah, so quick little introduction for myself. My name is Hiro Efram. I currently based out of Shanghai. I work in venture capital. Venture capital is an industry of investing in startups. I work with SOSV, which is the global fund, and I started off my career in China in this space. I used to work with a group of angel investors in Shanghai. And from my journey to working in China is very similar to that of maybe many folks here in this call. I studied abroad in Beijing a few years ago as a student. I got interested in China and Chinese, the language, in university or a little bit beforehand. I'm American by passport, but I was born in Ethiopia and was raised there for a bit and then immigrated to the United States. And whenever I used to come back to Ethiopia, I used to see a lot of China involvement in the different sectors there. And so that kind of put interest in China in the back of my mind growing up through adolescence. And then when I went to university, I went to this college called Middlebury College, the US, which is known for terrific language programs. And that's when I decided to pick up Chinese as a language, in part just to get involved in what's going on with China and their expansion to Africa in the last couple of decades. And so through that interest and just being interested in Sino-African relations, decided to pursue a degree in international politics and economics. And that degree was a great degree offered by my college, which focused on politics, economics, and yet study language, I study abroad. So for me, I studied Mandarin and I studied abroad in Beijing. And in my time in Beijing, I realized how amazing China's progression was and how many opportunities there are at the time. And China continues to evolve as a country and as a business space. And so upon coming back after my semester abroad, I entered at a Chinese company there called Beijing Neo Technologies, which I believe IPO'd in NASDAQ in 2017, I believe. So I was there right before their IPO year, and it was really good. It was a very eye-opening experience to have been able to work in a Chinese environment and use Chinese and leverage that. And through that interest, I decided I wanted to come back to China. But one of the challenges that I saw in coming back to China from abroad, from the US, is that it's tough to really come to China if you're not in China. You know what I mean? So I think folks here have alluded to the importance of networking and building relationships in the country and finding some sort of avenue, specifically to what you're interested in. So I was interested in general business, entrepreneurship, and stuff like that. And so while I was abroad in China, and while I returned back to school, I used that time to stay on WeChat and network as much as I can. And and I did many calls with many people there. My target city was actually Beijing, but along the way, life happens, and I found myself back in Shanghai through an opportunity through someone that I knew, and that someone ended up being my boss at this angel investment group. Angel investing, as you guys might know, is high net worth individuals that invest in startups. And so I found that to be quite relevant to my professional goals, meaning I was interested in entrepreneurship at one point and still am. And therefore, being on the investor side of the table is something I found to be quite interesting and useful for my career. So I took the opportunity and did that for a couple of years and then transitioned over to proper venture capital here at SOSV. So that's sort of my story. And I also have a presentation here to explain what SOSV does and how we are involved in the China ecosystem. So I'll go ahead and share my screen, do a little presentation on our firm, and then hopefully I'll take the time in the end to answer some questions around how we operate. Cool. Alrighty. Awesome. So can everyone see my screen? Are we good?
Yes, all good.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah. So China, so SOSV, might be good to maybe start with this slide first. SOSV is a global venture capital fund. We invest in multi-stage, we conduct multi-stage investments and work with founders from the early stage and continue to help them throughout their journey. So we have multiple offices around the world. We have presence in Shanghai, Shenzhen, are our China offices. In Greater China, we have Taipei, we have Tokyo, Seoul, Cork, where our back offices, where our accounting team, our legal team, etc. We have a team in New York, we have a team member in Delhi, and we have a team member in Kuala Lumpur. So we're quite distributed around the world. And we invest in four primarily verticals. Cross-border internet and software, which means that we invest in companies that are leveraging the internet or have software solutions. We invest in hardware. We're the number one active investor in hardware. We invest in life sciences. So this like biotech, alternative foods, etc. And then we're also quite active in blockchain. So as a fund, we have $970 million assets under management, and we're getting pretty close to that $1 billion mark. So we're excited for that. We've surpassed 1,000 portfolio companies sometime last year and continue to grow. And as a fund, we have about 21% net IRR. So these are some of the few rankings that was given to us by PitchBook. So number 3 investor in the world as of last year. And then the year before that, I think we're actually number 2. During COVID era, we popped up to number 1 because we did a lot of investments in the COVID related space, COVID research and stuff like that. We're number 4 active investor in the US, number 10 in Europe, and number 5 in Asia and the rest of the world. And specifically when we look at Asia, our top key metrics are Southeast Asia. We're like number 8 in the region there. And we're continuously active in India. We're the number 5 active investor there, maybe number 3, depending on other rankings as well. And as of recently, we're the number 1 investor in Pakistan as well. And so my division, I work at China Accelerator and Mox. We are sister programs. We invest in cross-border internet, and where our value add at its core to one angle when you compare it to China, when you connect it to China, is we leverage a lot of the playbooks that have been used from China to scale, and use that playbook to advise our companies when they go to scale in their respective markets. So both programs are quite active investing around the world, but we do have concentrations in Southeast Asia as well as South Asia. South Asia being Bangladesh, Pakistan, and India. And we're further merging into the African continent these days. I think we're in the process of closing 2 companies there. And these are some more rankings from PitchBook, CB Insights, about where we stand. Like I said, we're number 1 in hardware, number 1 biotech, number 1 in healthcare devices. We're quite active in commercial services, pretty active in agri-tech, number 1, and then we were quite active in media as well. We're the top 10% performing VC in the world, our net IRR being 21%, which is quite good. And our investment thesis is quite simple. We have plenty of applicants that want to be a part of our program. We have a very curated way of picking top companies, and traditional accelerators, as you see, have very small bandwidth to work with the startups. We decide to drop the accelerator model and continue to be a platform VC where we work with our companies, hopefully till exit. And so that's been a way of getting us to deliver more value to our startups for their lives. And this is basically our investment funnel. And so we focus on many industries. We focus on digital, we focus on cross-border, so market entry and market expansion, and we have heavy emphasis on being growth-centric, which means we want you to start growing before you start fundraising, because that makes a lot of conversations with investors easier, and growth is really what propels you to provide your solution to to your consumers, to your clients, etc. And furthermore, the more you grow, the less dependent you are on investment, which means less dilution, therefore much better for the entrepreneur. So that's sort of our focus here. Going back to our multi-industry portfolio, we have investments. This is just from the cross-border internet side. We have investments all over. As you can see, education we have a few companies there. China Admissions being one of them. We invested in China Admissions, I believe, almost 5 years ago, and it's been a great relationship since. And yeah, so our investment comes alongside Perks, a program, and community. Community, we have approximately 500 plus mentors, of which I believe James CEO Rich is one of our mentors as well. Our program is lifelong. So from the investment till exit, there's only work with our companies. And Perks, we have about $1.6 million worth of perks available to each startup. So startups that join our ecosystem have access to all sorts of juice to be able to grow. And yeah, that's our ecosystem. From the China Accelerator side, we have perks that are more China specific. We also work with GAN. We're one of the founding members of GAN, Global Accelerator Network. And SOSV as a whole also has a set of perks that we make available to the entire portfolio. And our community, we have, like I said, 1,000 plus portfolios. So we have a pretty strong community of entrepreneurs, very strong community of mentors. Our partners are great. We have experts in residence. These are all folks that have done a thing or two in their careers that can advise our companies on all things from scaling up a startup, due diligence, accounting, tech. We recently onboarded a tech EIR, and as well as fundraising and financial modeling. And then our team, we have, I think at this point, we're at 35 people on our team, all dedicated to making sure that our portfolio is able to grow and add value there. My mentors, well, we mentioned 500 plus. These are all community members and also some of our partners here. We are active and working with incubators as well as corporates all around the world. These are our innovation partners. So we're lightly engaged with 200 plus multinational corporates around the world. And when I say lightly, that means that we have a relationship with them. We work with about 50 or so on a regular basis. And then 27, 26 are LPs in our fund. LPs means they invested in our fund. And so, yeah, so that's a quick overview as to how SOSV China Accelerator MOX works. We have a couple QR codes here, one for our Asia Startup Pulse podcast, which is great content that we publish upstairs in this building for things China related from all sorts of VC partners, innovators in space. And so if you're interested in podcasts and learning more about what's happening not only in China, but also in Asia globally, feel free to check out our podcast. And then also on WeChat, feel free to check out our official accounts if you want to get a contact to learn about what we have in store, what kind of activities we have planned. That's that. Happy to take some questions.
Thanks, Hiro, for the presentation. Yes, there are
Indeed.
some questions for you. So I think the first one is this one. How has your international background helped with your career in China?
My international background. So it's tough to say, it's tough to pinpoint. This is like one of those things where it may have contributed, might have not. I think this is how maybe I would say it would have helped. Because, you know, of my background in having lived abroad and understanding, having multicultural experience, it makes life a lot easier when you're working with entrepreneurs from all over the world. So I'm on the investment team at China Accelerator MOX, SOSV, which means I cover companies from all parts of the world and even geographies that I'm not particularly too familiar with. And so being able to know how to work with multicultural people from multiple backgrounds is helpful, and it's important because my job is not just analyzing papers and pushing papers. It's also a lot of relationship management. That means it requires a high level of EQ, which comes from being exposed to all types of people. To give you some context, I have, I think, 12 companies in India that I work with, 4 in Pakistan, another 4 in Malaysia, uh, 3 in Indonesia. I have 2 in China, a couple in the US, couple in Europe, Spain, London, and 1 or 2 in Singapore. So I have companies from all over the world, and so being able to relate from people with many backgrounds is quite important, because sometimes at the early stage, communication and relationship building is very important, because that's what allows you to first build a relationship with the companies you're working with, and then allow them to better advise them, but then also work with them and gain their trust and some of the guidance we give to make sure the company continues to scale.
Mhm.
So that's probably where I would put how my international background might have helped.
Cool. Thanks. There's another question also for
Mhm.
you. So, what would you advise when one wants to approach you? I think she means wants to approach SOSV for an investment in the food and
Mm.
hospitality industry related field.
Yeah, so you can send an application to our website. So applications are usually the best place to send over uh, like business pitch materials. But I guess it's also important that we also have some fit, right? So the companies we invest in usually have some semblance of product market fit, which means they have clients, they have revenue, and they're looking to scale and grow. So usually these are the 3, 4 points that we look at in our startups before we decide to even invest. So if your pre-revenue might be a little bit too early unless the opportunity is quite impressive. If you're that's one thing to consider. And then also, just make sure that also your materials and profiles and all that stuff is submitted. And feel free to also connect with people on our team on LinkedIn as well to make sure that your application gets seen and can get the attention it deserves.
Mhm. Great. So I think if you don't mind, could you later share your LinkedIn profile so any other participants that would like to connect with you or that would like to
Mhm.
connect with SOSV, they can get all the help they need as well.
Sounds great. Cheers.
Sounds great. Right. Thanks, Hiro, for sharing. Right. So now we have Jonathan here on Zoom. He's already on Zoom with us. So Jonathan, if you're ready, the time is yours.
Awesome. Sounds good. Okay, thank you so much. I apologize to everybody for the slight delay. And I thank the previous speakers, James, Heather, and Hiro, for the presentations. I think that they have already covered extensively, like many of the aspects that are the most important or more key to, aspiring to work in China. So I will be quickly sharing my story when it comes to like why I ended up here, what I do. And I will open up like questions for the last 5 minutes so we can make it more interactive. Feel free to start typing the questions on the Q&A, and then we will get to as many of those as possible, okay? So I'm a dual citizen from Colombia and Canada. So I grew up in Medellin, Colombia until I was 18. And then I moved to Montreal, Canada, where I went to study. I did my university there. I did, like my background is more in international development, political science, and social entrepreneurship from McGill University in Montreal, Canada. And then during that time, although I did internships at the UN in Ecuador or study in 2 universities abroad, one in the Netherlands and one in Australia, and did another internship in Australia, then I ended up like finding a scholarship to do a master's degree at Tsinghua University as a Schwarzman scholar. And that was the moment where my story in China really took shape, because coming to these institutions really is a soft landing to all the complexity that China has to offer. And that's the best way, let's say, in my particular case, to get to know more about China and also figure out your own way into the society, into how to get a job here and so on. So the experience at Tsinghua University, it was amazing. It's similar to the experience that James had at Beta. It's a program that allows you to understand China better, make a lot of connections and so on, but it doesn't really guarantee anything for you. So, and this is one of the big struggles that I experienced, because as some of you would know, like Tsinghua is considered to be the top university in China. And most people would think, okay, if you graduate from that university, that's it, you get a job right away. And that's what I thought. But to my surprise, that was far from being the case. When I graduated in July, I didn't even have any offer, nothing. My visa as a student was about to expire. Luckily, on my other passport, I had a visa as a tourist, so I stayed as a tourist. Also, like, teaching a couple hours here and there, trying to interview, apply for different roles, until finally it happened. I landed an interview with ByteDance, and I finally secured a job in October. So you can see like the time that I needed to spend in China, like struggling, like figuring things out, until finally I got an offer. And then that's not really the end, because then you need to do the paperwork for getting your visa and so on. So that took more time. I went to Colombia for Christmas, also for the visa. And then I came back in China in January 15, 2020, just like days before the whole outbreak of COVID-19. And that was also a lot of uncertainty during that time, because I wasn't really already started the job. I needed to wait like a month to transition your work visa to a residence permit and working permit. So there is a lot of let's say, bureaucracies that you need to go through in China. And as James also mentioned, is something that you're willing to embrace, because it's not that easy. It's very tedious. It's annoying, but that's the way it is, right? So I graduated in July. I started working in February 2020. So I spent like 6 months doing basically nothing, just finding an opportunity in China until it happens. So I would say that this is a story. Let me finish the story, but then I will give you the takeaways. Once I just, let's say, started my position in ByteDance, I've been working in ByteDance for 1.5 years. For the first, let's say, part of it, I was working for Feishu or Lark, which is a B2B product similar to, in China, you will compare it to Ding from Alibaba or WeCom from Tencent, or overseas, you will compare it to Microsoft Teams or Slack and so on. So this is the product where I became, let's say, more familiar with for the most part of my time at ByteDance. And recently I transitioned to a new role, which is now doing a strategy for TikTok Latin America, which is much more closely with my goals for the future. Now I'm a project manager for different, let's say, initiatives that are taken for all the users that we have across Latin America, excluding Brazil, which is a different market. And that's much more exciting for me, because it's very aligned with the things that I want to do in the future. So I could say that after, let's say, having graduated 2 years ago, only 2 years later, I can say that I am like happy and in the place where I really wanted to be from the very beginning. So China takes time. And here is what my takeaways from the story. The first one is that not that many people get to stay. Like my program at Tsinghua University, we were 130 students, and 30 of those were Chinese. So let's not count them. Then we have 100 international students, mostly from the US, the other percentage from the rest of the world. And from those 100, only 10 of us, 10%, stayed in China. To my surprise, or to your surprise, 3 of us are now currently working at ByteDance. So you can also see that I saw some of the questions being like, what are the trends for people to work in China? And some of them would be international Chinese companies that are going overseas. And you can think about like Tencent, Alibaba, Didi, maybe Baidu, ByteDance, and so on. So those could be some of the key, let's say, companies that you could be thinking about. But also you need to understand a little bit deeper about what is the value that you bring to these companies. Because when I was interviewing, I had 2 issues. The first one is that they would ask, do you speak Chinese? Contrary to James, I haven't invested the time to study Chinese. So my Chinese is very basic. So I would reply to that question like, no, I don't really speak Chinese. Then they will ask, okay, do you have experience working in any Fortune 500 company before? And then I say, no, this would be my first job, full-time job. And then they will be like, okay. And here's the issue, because now we have so many qualified candidates in China that are Chinese, that of course speak Chinese native. They also speak English and other languages perfectly. They have education overseas, and those really increase the pool in China, and they make it harder for let's say, international talent to stand out. It's not as before, where just because you were a foreign, national, you couldn't get, amazing opportunities in China. I don't think that's really the case. So if you are serious about like actually making a career in China, you need to be willing to struggle and invest the time, because it doesn't happen as easy as we wish it could be. So that's the first, let's say, takeaway. The second takeaway is that if you can invest on Chinese, absolutely go for it. You don't need to, like, for example, if you find yourself right now out of China, not being able to come back for the time being, cool. That's something out of your control. What you can control is actually what you could do with the time that you are outside and getting ready for whenever borders open, which it'll happen one day. So if you can start taking classes, if you can start talking to people, reaching out to people, understanding the needs, I'm sure that when the borders open, you could be one of those few people that will pop up in their minds of the recruiters, the different people that are hiring for their own teams, friends that can refer you to their positions and so on. So that's when you can, like capitalize on that opportunity. In the meantime, you could see yourself as in a time where you're just getting ready for the opportunity to show up. So that's a big, let's say, like advice for you. If you can invest in Chinese or other skills that will make you a more, suitable, qualified, attractive candidate, just go for it. The other advice is that you gotta work, let's say, harder, if you don't already do, on your social networks. And I'm talking mostly about LinkedIn. I think for me, LinkedIn has been an incredible platform that has allowed me to connect to different people in China. Those connections, at first, you may not know how they will connect the dots and what will lead or what could happen in the future. But trust me, the more people know you, the more you are in the minds of people, the more opportunities you get. And I can tell you that because of, like, let's say, the few articles that I writing on LinkedIn from time to time, I've been approached to participate in different opportunities, and that has been really amazing. So if you are overseas, if you are in China, I would say, like, invest heavily or even more than what you already do on your socials, especially LinkedIn. So that will gonna lead to more opportunities in the future. If you are, let's say, in China, social circles are very important. You know how Chinese are when it comes to, like, personal relationships. So if you can invest more on those, like going to events, like talking to people, again, you may not know how exactly that's gonna help you, but trust me, in the long run, it'll help for sure. Another one is that when you are looking for opportunities, you can easily get lost in LinkedIn jobs or whatever JDs and everything that is posted on the websites. So at that point, if your job is to find a job, you could really find it, right? But that doesn't really guarantee or mean that you're gonna be happy doing that job. And that's something that you really need to stop and think carefully, because some of those JDs may not be something that is suitable for you. So I recommend that even before you attempt to look for something, first stop, take your time and figure out, what do I really want and what is my value? For me, I understood that my value in a big Chinese company like ByteDance that is so competitive is not really my Chinese, because there is no way for me to compete on that front. It's not really that I have, like, international education or that I graduated from Tsinghua, because people graduate from even better universities. So there is no way you can compete there. My only, let's say, or one of the few ways that I can contribute to that company or to anyone is my language skills, my familiarity with cultures like Canada and Colombia, Latin America at large. And that is really where I decided to position myself better. And that's what really got me to this new role for TikTok strategy Latin America. But it really took a lot of time. It took, I can tell you, like 5 months of actively talking to people, talking to different teams, understanding what's happening in the other, let's say, product line, which is TikTok, because remember, I was in a different product line, and ByteDance has so many products. So you may not really overlap with any of those other products. So I spend a lot of time talking to people, understanding, until basically I created the opportunity for myself, and I finally landed a job that I can say is very aligned with the things that I want to do in the future. So understand your value, and first figure out what you want, then look for it and create it for yourself. And I would say that most of the trends that for international talent can excel in China is by being a bridge between your country, your culture, the things you know best, and China. that's where we can add more value. I find myself as having the mission of becoming a bridge between Latin America and China. That's exactly what I'm doing. So this could be a way for you to approach what's the value you can bring to any company here. Again, talk to people, discover the big picture, how things work, and then you can be in a better, situation, in a better position to spot the opportunities, and the opportunities will open up. Again, one of the things that I really like from what James says is that his CEO, he doesn't take no for an answer, and that's true. The fact that someone says no, sorry, your application is not, we're not going to proceed with your application right now, doesn't mean that they won't ever do it again. Like, just give it a couple months, try again. I interviewed for ByteDance 3 times, one in February, then another one in April, and then the last one in October, until I finally got a job. So it takes time, but again, the big takeaway is like the struggle is real. You need to go through many rounds of iteration until you finally land something. And the final, advice that I can say is that just be ready, just be there, just let people know you, just make yourself be in the radar for whenever the opportunity opens up, then you can be able to capitalize on those. So that's a story. That's one of the few things that I can, share with you right now. And then let's open up to questions. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, Jonathan, for sharing. So I'll help to narrow down some of the questions for you. Let me check here. Right. So the first question is from a participant from Costa Rica. So she's also from Latin American country. So the question is, how do you feel the cultural shock? Because people frequently tell her that the Latin people will have a very hard time adjusting with the cultural shock in the beginning.
I would say that there are many preconceptions about what we think of China. I don't need to go into details, but we know what we think about China from Latin America. But when you come here, you realize that that's not really the case, or not entirely. One of the biggest shocks for me is like technology here is a major part of our daily lives. Like the fact that you have cell phones and you can scan QR codes and you do everything with your mobile phone is just like mind blowing. The currencies, mobile pay, like Wechat Pay, Alipay, that's something that in Latin America, we all have coins and bills and stuff. Mm-hmm. Here you pay everything electronically. So that's a big shock. Culturally, I wouldn't say there is much of a shock. It really depends on the mentality that you come to China with. If you are coming here as someone that is like going to be judging the way people do things, or why do they do it, why they don't do it the way I do it, then you're gonna have a hard time. But if you come here with an open mind, in a way to understand that you're here to learn, you're here as a host, you're being hosted by China, so you gotta be like a good guest and observe and understand and just like learn how to coexist with the different, let's say, culture, things that the people do here. I would say that we can find even more similarities than we think, as people here are more, the family is very important, social circles are important. So I don't have like any struggle socially in China. In fact, I have a pretty, quite, enjoyable life in Beijing. So this is something that I really cherish about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So another question is about your experience as a Schwarzman scholar. So can you please tell us about it, like who can apply for it, and whether is it really necessary to have experience when you apply, or is it also open for fresh graduate, or like, yeah.
Cool. So there are like a couple of major requirements. The first one is that you need to be under 29 years old. The second one is that you have to have at least a bachelor's degree, or by the time you start Schwarzman, then you will have to be graduated from your bachelor's. Other than that, the application is quite straightforward. Just like a UCB, a few reference letters, and a few things like that, and then you just go through the rounds of interviews and so on. I just want to highlight that it's quite competitive. That is something that about 4,000 people apply, and they end up choosing 130. So that's quite a lot. So if I would say, if you are interested in the program, I'll be more than happy to share some tips. I wrote some articles on LinkedIn as well about it. And this is something that I highly recommend. I think for me, the program has changed my life in many ways. It changed the trajectory from, like planning to do a career maybe overseas in Canada to actually making it a reality for me to be in China today and then planning to stay here for the next 5-10 years.
Mm. Right. And I remember you mentioned that LinkedIn was such a powerful tool, right, for you. So, do you have any tips on how you could? Do you have any tips about how you connect with strangers on LinkedIn, and maybe do, because it's gonna be pretty weird, right? If we just if we just shoot some random DMs to the strangers on LinkedIn. So, if you have any tips on how we can connect with a stranger on LinkedIn in a professional way, I think that'd be better.
I would say first, don't be weird about it. It's just like I do it all the time. I send requests and I say like, hey, I saw your profile. I wanted to learn more about what you do. And you may be surprised because most of the time people will reply and be like, sure, let's add me on WeChat. We can have a call regarding Beijing. They will go for coffee, things like that. It doesn't happen all the time, but when you create when you strike a connection from the beginning, it can happen. At the very least, if you send an invitation and they accept it, it doesn't mean that you need to, follow up or in any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just have them as contacts, and whenever you make you post something, you do something, they will see it as well. So that creates again the ability for you to be present, to be in the minds of people for whenever opportunities open up, they will think of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Right. So another thing is about the Chinese language skills, because you mentioned that your Chinese language skills was very basic.
Mm-hmm.
That was also my experience, basically. So, do you think that your lack of proficiency in Chinese language has hindered you in any way at ByteDance, or maybe in general?
I mean, it would be desirable if you speak Chinese. You will navigate circumstances much better. Perhaps you can land better offers, better opportunities, because it is a reality. And many people had told me this: if you wanna make it big in China, if you wanna aspire to be in better managing roles and stuff like that, you really need to speak Chinese. Otherwise, they will prefer somebody that may not have the cultural familiarity with the regions that you're working for, or the skills or anything else, but at least they speak Chinese, they can better communicate. Working in China, most of your colleagues are going to be Chinese. I would say 99% of them, 90% at least, are going to be Chinese. So you need to at least try to play a little bit local, and investing in Chinese is a priority. I know for now, for example, I don't have very advanced, Chinese skills, but I know that if I ever want to do something bigger in China, I need to invest the time. So that's a priority for the rest of the year, and it's something that I wish I would have done before. I mean, if I could have, gone back in time before coming to Schwarzman, I had 6 months and I invested in traveling. I would have rather, come to China earlier and study Chinese. But this is something that I didn't have to clear. I didn't know I wanted to stay in China. Had I known that this was going to be my future, I would have been a little bit more serious about studying Chinese before.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Jonathan, for sharing. And I do agree with you. I think knowing Chinese, especially if you are gonna work in China, or if you are at least even if you only plan to study in China, it's gonna be very beneficial for you, right? It's gonna open up a lot more opportunities for us international talents.
Totally.
Right. So yeah, thanks a lot, Jonathan, for all the time you have invested in today's session. And yeah, thank you and have a nice day. So we can now move on to the next presenter, which is Jack from Shanghai Chiao Tung University Global EBA program.
Okay, hi everybody. So this is Jack from Shanghai Chiao Tung University Global EBA program. Actually, we have started this program 1.5 years ago. Okay, so let me introduce Shanghai Chiao Tung University. Okay, Shanghai Chiao Tung University with history of 125 years. Then we are always top 3 or 4 university, also design university in China. Okay, so the world ranking now is 34. Okay, global EBA program, actually we belong to Shanghai Chiao Tung University Education Group. Okay, global EBA program, actually we started 1.5 years ago. So we try to be leading innovative management course in China and the world. We have excellent global alumni platform. People from 67 countries now. Okay, anyway, so it's not updated. Okay, 67 countries, and we have more than 100 topics, business topics. We focus on how to do business in China, and then we continuously updating courses. Okay, so if you have any questions, actually you can start to scan, this QR, to find Jessica to talk, so yeah. Okay, so the QR will be always remain there. Okay, the key value of global EBA program actually connect and sharing. We connect you with our participants, and we connect you with our lectures, and you share experiences, business resources, opportunities, with each other. Okay, so you're going to find the business. You also find the business partners, in our platform. Okay. So this is some courses and events, some samples we run. Actually, every Tuesday we run the course online and on site. So then, for instance, next Tuesday will be the 40th session 40. Of the Tuesday Smart Talk. Tuesday Smart Talk actually is a supplement of the main course every Saturday. Every Saturday afternoon from 2 to 5, we have the course. For instance, we have the course today about China's role in global financial economy, by Alan Wang, who is the very famous journalist from Bloomberg. Anyway, so yeah, this will be the next Tuesday, course. Okay, so you can scan this one, to get course, and also you can contact us, contact Jessica, about the course. Okay. Anyway, so this is some samples of our courses, and we have more courses. So we have a lot of courses. Every Saturday, Tuesday, we have the courses. Okay. So Global EBA, which is Global Executive of Business Administration, the full name of Global EBA. Okay, we run 1.5 years. Now it's already 50 people already, from 67 nations. Okay, we just had somebody enrolled recently. Yeah. Okay, so Lorenzo is the head of Global EBA. I'm the director of the founder, and Hector is the responsible for the responsible for the American. Sorry, I have some problem with my. Yeah, I can't click this one. Okay, sorry. Okay, they brought my screen actually. Yeah, the videos. Okay, so. No? Just let me get my mouse. Okay. Oh, now it's better. Okay. So actually, we are. Wait a minute. Sorry. Choose. Okay. So actually, Lorenzo, Gabo, Alan Wang, Didier has been with us for more than 16 years. Okay. I'm 40 years old. Actually in this industry for more than 16 years. Okay. Yeah, expat learning, yeah, industry. Okay. Okay, we provide private courses, for expats. Okay, so we have very excellent, lecturers in this group. In the lectures, still growing. Okay, the numbers growing. Okay, we've always find very excellent lecturers. So the basic ideas of global EBA program, actually, we designed the program based on 5 modules. More than 100 topics. Based on 5 modules. Okay. Microeconomic, the management, market sales, finance and venture capital management, leadership and personal skills improvement. Okay, so more than 100 topics designed based on 5 modules. Okay, this is our courses. So you can see the yellow one is the Saturday course, and the white one is the Tuesday course. Okay, Saturday course, yeah, with every Saturday you can see every Saturday we have the courses. Okay, every Tuesday also have the courses. So next one will be, let me see, 27th. Okay, yeah, Tuesday. Then we have, we have 3rd of August, so we'll be Maxi, talking about trends on banking, fintechs. Okay, anyway. Okay, so as you can see, 20%. Okay, so as well as we are business course. Okay, so 20% of the global EBA program is participants is top CEOs, CEOs of multinational companies. And 70% is the middle management. Okay, so people from middle management, business owners, directors, and then 10% is from the embassy, chamber, and the senior ones. Okay. Okay, this is our campus. You can see, our campus is really good. So our campus is in Shuhei campus, China University Shuhei campus. Yeah. Oh, there's something missing here. Okay, anyway, so after every 2 months we have graduation ceremony, and then we have every 2 months. We have 2 months. We have the graduation ceremony. And in 3 months' time, I'm going to get a graduation ceremony, and the graduate, you're going to graduate, and you're going to get the certificate from Shanghai University Education Group. Okay. Okay. The next starting date will be okay. Today is the starting date, but if you're interested in it, you can scan Jessica's WeChat, and start to contact with us. You can still join this current cohort. Otherwise, you can join next cohort on 7th August. Okay. So the study period is 3 months. Okay. After that, you can do lifelong learning. Okay. So you can do it always be with us. Okay. So some students has been with us more than 13 years. Okay. So you may have one question. Okay. So last 1.5 years ago, you started global EBA program, but now you're talking about 13 years or 14 years. Why is that? Okay. So before the global EBA program, actually called global, it's called China MBA. Okay. It's also one program provided by Shanghai University, continuation education school, and I'm in charge of that program. So some of the participants from that program about 13 years ago, start still with us. Okay, so as I started another program, which name is the Global Executive Business Administration Program, people still stick with us. Okay, so he has been with me, with us, with the program, for more than 13 years. Anyway. So as we said, that is lifelong learning. Okay, so as long as I'm still alive, I'm going to continue with this program. Okay, yeah. Okay, the tuition fee now is 8,800 RMB. 8,800 RMB. Then will be very soon. The tuition will be raised soon. I don't know, it's a year, like maybe like 10,800 RMB. Okay, so every 6 months, we increase the management decided to increase the tuition fee, because this tuition fee actually is very, very cheap. Cheap, affordable. In the whole Shanghai University education system. Yeah. Anyway, Anyway. Okay. Thanks very much, and enjoy Global EBA. Okay. Let me know if you scan Jessica's WeChat. I'm going to send something in the group. So you are going to get more information with us. So if you have any question now, you can start to ask. Okay.
Hi, thanks, Jack, for sharing about Global EBA program. So I think the most important thing would be the next start date or like the next cohort for this program. So in case if there are some students who miss a little bit of your presentation, they can get the information still.
Yes. Actually, they can scan. It can actually, there are some link, in global. China Missions. Okay, China Missions website. They can start to enroll from that one. Yeah. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So the next starting date is actually today. So even if students just register today, they can still join next week, right?
Yes, of course. They can start. They belong to a current cohort. Yeah. Current cohort. Yeah.
Yeah,
and yeah, actually we have already run, since 1.5 years ago, we started the program. We have already run courses for more than 130 times already. Yeah. So we're gonna have more than 130 videos and also materials we're going to send to people, so you can also follow up, all the previous classes, and also in the future classes, all the courses, all the videos, courses, and materials that we can send to everybody. Then people can do it online, on site, and on recordings. Okay, so yeah, people, yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome in terms of the flexibility. And also, I remember Global EBA program have scholarships.
Yes,
so
that's right.
Is there any criteria for students to be able to secure the scholarships?
Okay, so very simple. Okay, so actually, original price of a global EBA program I didn't show here. Actually, it's 32,800 RMB. So for China MBA actually is 58,000 RMB, but the global EBA program is 32,800 RMB. Okay, so with scholarship, people only have to pay 8,800 RMB. Okay, so that is the scholarship. Okay, so not a full scholarship; it's part of scholarship. Okay, with scholarship, people pay much less. Okay. So that is also some benefit, from our university, because we are expat. Expats very. Actually, all the programs here, is very expensive. Like at least 68,000 RMB or 100,000 RMB. Yeah. Yeah. So our program actually, which is 8,800 RMB. It's very cheap. But then at the end the price will be 32,800. And also people start enroll now. They are our lifelong learning. Okay, so we kept updating courses. People can kept coming back. But as I said, this is a business program. Okay, so we expect people who have some business experiences. Okay, so they must have some working experiences. Okay, so of course we welcome some students to take our program. Of course they need to have some business or a working experience. That's very important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
the minimum requirements actually is a university graduation or 3 years working experience. But sometimes we do accept we have some exception cases, but they have to tell us some working experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. So not only they will get the access of the 12 weeks course, but they will also get the access of the previous classes as well, right?
Yes, that's right. So we have more than 120 or 30 links. So they can access all the links of all the program of the previous courses, and also all the materials, all the PowerPoints. Okay, so yeah, more than 100 PowerPoints. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks Jack for sharing. And if you guys are interested, feel free to scan the QR code over there, or later at the end of today's event, we will reshare again about the information for this global EBA program. So if you missed the information, you can scan the QR code as well.
Okay. Okay.
All
Thanks
right.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jack.
Very pleasure. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye. So now we have Shirley from Mart, who will share about her experience as.
Yes.
Hi, Shirley. Are you there?
Hey. Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Yin, for the invitation and this event. I'm very excited to share some things about my experience and the things that I've done here and that I'm doing right now. So I'm Shirley. I'm from Peru. I came here to China to study a master's degree, the MBA at Peking University. And almost immediately after I arrived to China, I was hired by Mart as an intern, and then I grew up my career there. So it has been a great journey. I really love it. And it's a wonderful experience and also company, because just to share you a little bit about the story of the company, when I entered to the company, we were only 7 in my area, which was the international department. And right now we are more than 60 people. So you can see, like, literally with your own eyes how the company has grown, and it's very exciting. And it really makes you feel that everything around you has the opportunity to be even greater than it is. So that's a great opportunity. So a little bit of background of how I landed to that opportunity actually was a lot of networking. So everything that you have listened, guys, throughout this event actually is very true. So any chance you have to talk to people and introduce yourself and talk about maybe what are your goals and what are the things that you want to do with your professional career can open to very exciting opportunities. So actually, I remember that almost immediately after I arrived to Peking University, I started talking to the MBA program coordinator of my MBA. And I told her, like, hey, like, I'm Shirley, I'm very excited to be here, and I really want to maybe know what opportunities like the school might offer to their students or these kind of things. And I remember that at the moment she didn't have like anything in hand, like she didn't know maybe what things are like literally right now. But she told me, like, yeah, I'll be looking around. If I see something, I'll let you know. And from time to time, I just approach to her and just like say, hi, how are you? And I don't know, one time, like, the opportunity arose. I participated on a job application for the team. And I remember I had a wonderful interview with who's the president of our company right now, Mart International. And then I was given this opportunity to join Mart. So yeah, so I want to introduce you a little bit about the company. I'm gonna share my screen right now. Okay, 1 second. Okay, there it is. So Mart is an art toy company. Right now we have different kinds of business from our side. I don't know if you guys can see my screen. Please let me know if so.
Yeah, it's okay. It works.
Okay, awesome. I'm trying to click, but I think it's a little slow. Yeah, okay. So we have four lines of business. First of all, we develop and we work with international artists. We work with them and develop everything that it regards to their art. So the artists can focus only and solely on their artistry. We also operate and purchase IPs from around the world. We have different points of sales throughout many countries. And one of the main aspects of PopMart is that we want to develop the art toy culture around the world. This is our presence internationally. I remember that when I joined the company, we were only at US, Thailand, Japan, Singapore, and Korea. And right now we have access to all these countries. And actually, I would say even more because through our e-commerce platforms, we have pretty much worldwide business, and people consumers from different parts of the world can purchase our products. Okay, so as our product strategy, mainly our products are blind boxes, but we also have like big collections and accessories. So these are some of the products that we may have. I don't know if you have seen PopMart before. Well, offline we have an omni-channel strategy approach. So that means that we have presence, like interconnected presence throughout many platforms, either offline or online. We work through distributors or our company-owned stores, RoboShop, pop-up stores. Online, we have diverse e-commerce platforms right now for the international market, including Amazon, Shopify, AliExpress, and others, and also social media such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and other platforms. So, yeah. And this is some of the artists, some of the artists that we work with right now. They come from different parts of the world. Including Korea, of course, China. We are a Chinese company, and many other, Japan as well, or some countries in Europe, UK, yeah. And we also work with very exciting IPs. For example, we work with Disney, with Hello Kitty, SpongeBob, Harry Potter. So if you are a fan of something like this, at PopMart, we have these amazing collections. And I think it's very fun because there are some people that are really, really into this kind of maybe characters. And it's very nice to see how much people from our own company also love them. Yeah, so we also have crossover collaborations, and we actually hold the largest art toy show in Asia. I went to all of the ones that since I started working at PopMart, and they are very exciting events. You can see people from different parts of the world, of course, especially in China, looking for these toys and really want to get the collections. And actually, these events can handle up to hundreds of thousands of people. So it's very exciting to see how much fandom these products can get. We also participate in some worldwide exhibitions, and we have collaborations with many different brands, including Yvon Saint Laurent, Sephora, Olay, Holy Land, the brand of cakes, yeah, and many others. These are some examples of our collaborations. And also, due to the impact of the brand, we have been featured in many news media outlets around the world. And we also work with corporate social responsibility to give back our community and society a little. Yeah, and also I just want to share a little bit some of these job opportunities we have right now. So I work for the overseas digital department, and these are some opportunities that we are currently looking for. I know that most of you guys might be outside China, but if you are in mainland China, that will be a good opportunity. If you're interested in these careers or you have experience in these careers, just let me know or send me a message, and I'll be very, very glad to talk to you guys. So this is my WeChat. And also, I don't know if I have some time left, because I want to share something about the maybe working visa, because I think it's very important aspect when it comes to come to China. Do I have some minutes left?
Yeah, you still have like 7 minutes left. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. So one of the things that I wanted to share, guys, is that I know that some people throughout the sharing session have shared about like teaching jobs. If I don't know anything about China, it's the first time I'm listening this kind of sharing sessions. I'll be like, why the speakers are talking too much about teaching jobs? There's a reason. And the reason is that it's very hard for people to, once they got there, to go out from those teaching jobs. And I tell you from experience, because I haven't been a teacher since I arrived in China, but I have tried to hire people that have been on that arena, and it has been extremely difficult to hire them. I would say impossible. So my suggestion to all of you guys is that if you are not passionate, or your goal in life is not to be a teacher, don't go there. Because if you go, then it would be very difficult for you to go out from that. Just recently, we tried to hire a person, and he had a great CV, great skills, and very good personality, experience, everything. But at the end, we had to dismiss his application because the government didn't accept his papers, because he had more than 3 years of experience in teaching jobs, even though he did his best to maybe have other experiences in digital marketing or other experiences, in this kind of arena. But at the end, anything worked out. So it's very sad to see this kind of outcomes. So if you guys have questions about this, you can also add me, and then I can also provide some feedback on this aspect. But my very, very important suggestion to all of you guys that maybe are not too aware of what happens here in China is that if your goal in life is not to be a teacher, don't go there. Don't go there, because it's very difficult to switch careers then. It's just my personal maybe experience, or my personal things that I've seen. And yeah, and the other thing that I wanted to share is that I share a lot of pain points with Jonathan, and I'm really glad that he shared a lot of things that he shared through this session, because living in China or getting a proper career might be a little difficult. It's not that easy. And yes, Chinese is super important. If you guys have time, I have literally the same pain point. Like, I wish I can go back in time and study more Chinese, but it's never too late to learn. I think that all of us that maybe have the same struggle are really, okay, we get the point. So we are all studying very hard to get to a level. Okay, I'm never going to be a Chinese myself, of course. Maybe I'm not going to negotiate IPOs or big contracts. I will never do that in my life. But I want to get to a point, and everyone that is here as a foreigner in China, all of us, we want to get to a point in which we can have a career, and in which we want to maybe have a standard in which we can say anything and everything we need and want in order for us to do our jobs. So yeah, of course, that takes time. It's a lot of investment in time, in money, and sometimes with Chinese, all my life, I consider myself, yeah, I'm good at learning languages, but then you learn Chinese, and then all your security, all your self-trust in yourself just like goes down. So Chinese is a very difficult language. Don't take it like, yeah, I can learn anything. I just need a couple of months and I'll be there, 1 year and I'll be there. It's not like that. So take it seriously, study hard, and having a good level of Chinese will open many, many doors for your professional career in China. So that's everything that I wanted to share with you guys. And if you guys have maybe any questions for me, or do you want to know anything, I'll be very glad to answer your questions.
Thank you, Shirley, for sharing your experiences at PopMart. I think a lot of students, the question is not really about, I think most of the students, and not most of the students, some of the students are more excited about having PopMart launch in Africa. So is there any plan maybe for PopMart to be launched in Africa anytime soon?
That's a great question. Our aim as PopMart is to become a global company, of course, including Africa and Latin America and many other regions and countries around the world. But to be completely transparent, there's no maybe short plan term to go to Africa in the short time or in the foreseeable future. But it's definitely something that we want to achieve. Our international area just started like 2.5 years ago. So it's very, very new stage, even though it has grown a lot, it's still very new. So of course, there's a lot of room of growth, a lot of room of opportunities, and we really want to join people from, our goal right now as PopMart is to join to our team people from many walks of life, and knowledge and education backgrounds, so we can have a more solid team, not only full of Chinese or not only full of people like me, like Latin Americans, but people from all walks of life, so we can have a really diverse team in the future as well.
Cool. Yeah, I think it'd be excited not to only see PopMart in those countries list, but expand PopMart to like a more broader places. Right. So next question, it's about internship experiences. So do you think like having an internship experiences in Chinese company will be beneficial for your job search later in the future?
For sure. If you have a internship opportunity that you get here in China, that'll help you a lot to maybe potentially become a full-time. My suggestion is that maybe the master program, having an internship while you're doing a master program, that will help you a lot. That's exactly what happened to me. I was doing my master program on the MBA from Peking University, and then I was able to be hired full-time and grow my career inside the company. But of course, I will never maybe have done that if I've never had this first chance from PopMart, from our director. So yeah, I mean, an internship will open many doors for sure.
Yeah, and I think early in the presentation you mentioned that PopMart are opening some job positions, right?
Yes. These are the job positions that we have right now. I'm gonna reshare my screen and reshare my
WeChat.
Yes, I'm gonna share my WeChat.
Yeah, I think, or like later you can share it on the chat bar, the WeChat ID. Like you can share it to me, I'll reshare it to the participants.
Sure. These are the jobs that we have right now: video content specialist, customer service, English copywriting, and e-commerce design. Maybe you guys can add me later on WeChat, and I can send you further information. But the only thing is that for the moment we are looking people that are in Beijing, or at least in mainland China. Maybe in the future we might have some jobs that might be able to done remotely, but at the moment, that's not the case.
So right now it's only for people that are already in mainland China only.
Yes, right now, yes. But yeah, maybe in the future we have other opportunities that might be remote. So if anyone want to add me and maybe stay in touch for future opportunities, I will also be open to that. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's basically the end of the session for your presentation. Thank you, Shirley, for sharing. I'm also happy to get some some insights from Pop Mart, because I've been seeing Pop Mart stores all over Beijing.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, it's nice to get the real experience from somebody who works at Pop Mart. Thank you,
Sure.
Shirley.
Happy to do that. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye. So now we have Petrus from Beehive.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Amazing. Thank you, Nadia, for the presentation, and many thanks to the previous speakers who shared. I would like to also congratulate the participants because we started with 100 or so participants, and now it's kind of like fourth, fifth left. So the people who stayed are already more motivated than 20% of those who left. So congrats. So give yourselves a pat on the shoulder because you're very serious about a career in China. So what I'm gonna do, I'll be sharing my story with you, my China story, and hopefully through my sharing, you can get some tips and inspiration on how to create your own China story. I would like to say that everyone has a different experience when it comes to China. So you should never compare yourself to other people because they have different skills, different backgrounds, they speak different languages, they come from different countries. So there's no straight career path in life, career, and especially when it comes to China, your career path is going to be very, very crazy. So what I did, I've been in China for the past 4 years, but because of COVID, I had to move back home. Now back in Cyprus, and I've been working remotely for 1.5 years. And yeah, COVID has really messed up the long-term plans that I had for my career and my life, but it's okay, you take it as it comes. So my background is in economics. That was my bachelor's in the UK. So I studied in the UK, and after graduating, I did something very, very crazy, which I wouldn't recommend to any of you. I went to China without any work experience. So as Shirley mentioned, I started as an English teacher. I did that for 1 year. Thankfully, I didn't stay too long in that path because I knew from the beginning that that was not my calling. So let me take it from there. So after graduating, which I believe that many of you guys here are graduating right now, I didn't have an idea of what I wanted to do, right? So, and that's okay. I decided to take a gap year after my university degree. And the plan was to stay in China for 1 year. I went to China with my best friend to teach English. You can see the lovely pictures from the school. And my plan after the gap year was to do something really, really smart, I thought. It was to do a master's at UCL. So I had an offer in a really good degree, which was a combination of coding and finance. So I would know how to build things, but at the same time, learn how to make money. So computational finance. But halfway through my first year in China, I realized that my calling wasn't so much in finance or coding. I tried to teach myself to code. That didn't go very well. And I also thought to myself, there are many Cypriots. Remember, I'm from Cyprus, a very small island in Europe. There are many Cypriots who have this kind of degrees from top universities, but there are not a lot of Cypriots who speak Chinese. So I decided not to do a master's and stay in China for another year. And I did an intensive Chinese course at the UIB, which I highly recommend. So recap, 2012, 2015, I studied economics in the UK. Then in 2015, 2016, I moved to China to teach English. That was my gap year. And then in year 2, that was, I guess, my second gap year where I studied Chinese. And meanwhile, while studying Chinese, I felt confused, which I think is something that many of you guys feel now, especially with COVID, especially with China not opening up to foreigners, and you kind of like, okay, what I'm gonna do? What am I gonna study? Where am I gonna work? So it's very messed up, and that's okay, right? You should be okay with that because many people are in a similar situation. So halfway through my Chinese course in the Chinese university, I went to the careers office because that's what I used to do when I was in the UK. And they had a lot of resources. They had a lot of counselors, and there were many events, and they would help you a lot. But after going there, I realized there are no career offices in China at Chinese universities. And because of that, I felt even more confused. So what I did was, out of this confusion and out of this, let's say, frustration, 4 years ago, I realized that I had to do something about it. So I spoke to, 20, 30 friends of mine, and out of those 30 people, 2 people were interested, and we started doing events that focused on the career development of students. So these are some pictures from our first event back in 2017. It was about speed networking. This was our way to kind of overcome this confusion when it came to work. We would meet with each other, we would have events, and we would, we started building a team that could help students develop their careers in China. So a lot of people were foreigners. We also had Chinese, but then goal was to help people make the transition from feeling confused to feeling purposeful and really finding their career path in China. So far we've hosted more than 100 events. We've done a lot of different programs in different universities, Beida, Tsinghua, UIB. We've worked with LinkedIn. We've organized big events, small events. We were featured by China Daily. We organized the leadership program. This is the career path that career program we did with LinkedIn. But still, China is still feel lost. So even after Can you guys hear me?
Yep. I think
Great.
we lost you for a bit.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, we're back.
Sorry, Great. So even after reaching 11,000 people and having so many speakers and doing so many events, there's still a lot of things that have to be done. So right now, we still focus on helping students develop their careers in China. And we do that through our Wechat communities, our platform online. And you can check us out more later when I share more. These are my best tips for China jobs. These are the things that I saw that worked for me, and I think it would work for most of you, but it will probably not work for everyone. So as mentioned, you have to create your own path, because China is a very unique and special place. It has its own. So one thing that I see foreigners not doing much is creating a profile, a job profile on Chinese job boards. So by doing this, you show to Chinese employers that, I speak Chinese. I'm very serious about the Chinese career in China. And this is also a way for you to, gain some, exposure. So Liepin, Jiaopin, 51 Jobs, Boss, My, all of these job boards are, I would say, helpful, at least in the beginning when you try to find a job. You kind of get a better understanding of the landscape of the Chinese job market. I don't mention LinkedIn here because it's obvious that you have to have a LinkedIn profile. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, I highly encourage you to go and create one right now and send us the link in the chat box, and I will connect with you right away. So LinkedIn is a great way to, narrow down the filter. It's like a filter, LinkedIn. So it's both for employers, but also job candidates. So for you as a job candidate, LinkedIn is a great way to see which Chinese companies are kind of more international, to see which Chinese companies have a proper, branding in English, and whether they have English-speaking staff. If you don't speak, any Chinese, it's very challenging to find these jobs. But also LinkedIn is a great way to connect with these companies that are recruiting. Of course, it's still very, very challenging. That's why you need to work on your personal branding, which is then one of the next points that I will mention. So many of the speakers mentioned speaking Chinese. Speaking Chinese is an advantage, and that's a way to get your foot in the door when it comes to most jobs in China. If you don't speak any Chinese, then your chances of getting in China or working in China, living in China is very low. So I would highly encourage you. It doesn't matter whether you're now stuck back in your home country. I highly encourage you to learn or keep learning Mandarin Chinese. If you don't know any Chinese, then you're not serious about a career in China. You're not serious about working with China at all. And it's a really bad signal for employers. Having said that, even speaking Chinese, it's not going to be enough to, be a successful career starter or young professional in China, but it's still an advantage. So how do you keep learning Chinese, or how do you learn Chinese? You can enroll in online classes, online classes are they're not very engaging, but try to find a one-to-one class with a tutor. I would invest in a Chinese tutor who would help me keep learning Chinese even if I'm abroad. I would keep talking with my Chinese speaking friends. If you don't have any Chinese speaking friends, then I highly encourage you to download Wechat. So Wechat is the app that everyone uses in China. And through that, you can follow different types of communities, which we will see further on. And then these communities have their group chats. So that's a way to connect with Chinese speaking people, foreigners or Chinese. 都可以, both is okay. So I watch Chinese movies. Netflix has Chinese movies, cartoons, like check them out. They're fun. You can change the language to Chinese, and you can add the Chinese subtitles or the English subtitles. It's up to you. And depending on your level of Chinese, you can listen to Chinese songs. Highly, highly recommended. I would recommend Wang Fang. Sorry if my pronunciation is really bad. He has some really good songs like Chuntian, Beijing, Beijing. You know, so trying to find some Chinese songs that you like listening to, and then just listen to them again and again and again, and try to listen to, you know, learn some new words. Another thing, you should join communities. So in China, one thing that you have, like one advantage that you have is that you speak English, right? So English speakers in China, and especially in big cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, they're quite united. And I think through the work that we've been doing as Beehive, Startup Grind, and a lot of other communities like Global Shapers, then it's very easy to connect with trustworthy people, foreigners or Chinese people, like English-speaking Chinese, who are based in big cities in China. They are the ones that are gonna help you open the doors to opportunities, like job opportunities in China. So I would highly recommend that you join as many communities as you can, volunteer, organize events, online, offline. That's a great way to start creating your guanxi, your connections. If you have no connections in China, then it's gonna be very, very challenging to find a job or do anything in China. So highly recommend you to check out Startup Grind, Beehive, Life Skills for Me, Scholar, and many other communities that are not here. Also engaging with the China admissions team and getting to know their friends is very, very important. So some of the opportunities that we provide through Beehive includes like full scholarships for MBA programs, classes, and content that is focused on China professionals. So people who want to work or study in China. So we work with the United Nations, we work with SEEPs, we work with some of the best organizations in China that can help you either get a job or, you know, upskill yourself. Also, you can also volunteer for Beehive and be a Beehive ambassador, and that's also another way to gain some China experience. If you would like to join our beta platform, so this is our website, you can scan this QR code, and I'll be sharing the link for our website in the description in a bit. So you can join our beta platform to get to know opportunities in China and get to know more about, you know, the opportunities that China has to offer for foreigners. So educational opportunities, scholarships, and job opportunities and events. Another thing that you should be doing all the time is connect and network all the time with your China network. If you don't have a China network, start building it yesterday. And you can do that through WeChat, LinkedIn, video calls, and engage with these Chinese companies, organizations that you're interested in. So let's say today we had Jonathan, who works at ByteDance, and ByteDance is one of the biggest employer for foreigners in China. So you should add Jonathan and see whether Jonathan can help you. But before doing that, you have to think, what can you offer to Jonathan? What can you offer to ByteDance? And before we go to that, you should keep in mind all of the things that are connected to China in your home country. So the Confucius Institute, the biggest nonprofit for teaching Chinese across the world, you know, big Chinese companies, Huawei, Xiaomi, ByteDance, you have to be connected with them, have contacts with them. If you have none, just try to, so knowing an intern at TikTok is better than knowing no one at TikTok. So just get to know as many interns as you can. The Chinese embassies in your home country, that's also a great way for you to connect with China. So volunteer, help them as much as you can. And that would be a great boost when you try to come to China, when you try to apply for your visa. If you know the people at the Chinese embassy, then that's a great way to kind of smoothen your visa applications. but at the same time you're based in China, then try and see, okay, what can I do to support the Cypriot embassy, the Greek embassy, the Nigerian embassy, or the American embassy, depending on where you're from. Try to provide value to the people that you can. So how can you provide value? So again, before you connect with any of the speakers here, Shirley, Jack, Jonathan, before you connect with anyone, think about what you have to offer, right? So think about what makes you unique. So as we mentioned in the group chat, you are, as a foreign applicant, as a non-Chinese job seeker, you cannot compete with the Chinese directly. You cannot compete at language. You cannot compete at the level of cultural understanding. You cannot compete with your guanxi, your connections with the government or whatever, but you can compete on other things, right? So you should focus on what makes you unique and different. And you need to start building your personal brand today. WeChat and LinkedIn are great places to start and focus on. For example, I speak Greek. That's what's unique about me. My nationality, I'm Cypriot. Maybe there are some companies that want to work with China, with Cyprus, some Chinese companies that want to work with Cyprus. So what are your skills? Like, can you teach? Can you build code? Can you present? Can you, I don't know, are you a good graphic designer? So really try to reflect and see what makes you different, what makes you unique, what kind of unique experience do you have? Do you have any, experience in some of your country's biggest companies? What kind of connections do you have? So think about that and offer it slowly to the employers. As a job applicant, if I was looking for a job, I wouldn't put my CV anywhere. I would first develop the connections, the relationships with a specific company. And then when I see that, okay, this is a job position that is suitable for me, or maybe this is something that, this job was made for me. When I see that, I'm going to be like, okay, I might be sending my CV there, but don't offer these too soon, let them wait, let them, work for it. So I would like to wish good luck with all of the job applicants here. If you would like to connect with me here, then here are my WeChat, my LinkedIn profiles, the Beehive Go websites. And Nadia, if we don't have any questions, I took some of the questions that you shared with me yesterday, so I can answer those first in case we don't have any, but I can briefly comment on them. How does that sound?
So
Kaima?
actually
Yes.
the time is up, but I think we can open for like one question if you'd like to.
Sure, let's see if anyone has any questions.
I think one interesting question is, so there was a question asking about what will be like a beneficial skills that applicants have to have, in exception to like having a good language skills like Chinese or English or other qualifications. So what are the things that they can learn? And
well, it's the skills that make you unique.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's the skills that give you a niche. It's the skills that separate you from the crowd. Maybe you speak a separate language. Maybe you can do WeChat marketing, or maybe you're a great graphic designer. So think about what is your niche, what is your specialty. So finding a job in China or elsewhere, it's all about separating yourself from everyone else. And this is the same in China as well. But of course, your network is your net worth. So before you apply for jobs, you also have to start developing your network. So I would say that you have to be building your skills and developing your network at the same time and gain as much experience as possible. Of course, it makes sense that if you have internship experience at a few companies, then that's how you start your China journey, right? So that those are the companies that are most likely to give you a full-time opportunity in the future. So I know time's up. If you have any more questions, feel free to connect with me on WeChat, LinkedIn. This is my handle. I would like to wish good luck to everyone. Keep up the good work, China Admissions. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Petrus. Thank you for sharing. And it's nice to know there is another UIBE alumni here. I'm so happy to have to know another UIBE alumni here, right? So again, thank you, Petrus, for your time. And now we can welcome Marina from Hello Career.
Hi guys. Hi Yin, thank you so much. It's my great honor to introduce my own story and my experience from the global global recruiters perspective. Sorry, give me 1 second. Let me open my profile. Okay. Okay. So does it work?
It works. It works, Marina.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I just quickly brief of my own background. So I have been involved in global recruiting for over 4 years. So my main sharing is about the how to find a job and how to come to China, especially how hard to apply visa come to China under this situation, and also parts about how to find a job in China. Of course, before me, there are a lot of presenters already share their experience to find jobs and also their own stories, which are quite helpful, quite useful for a lot of people. Same for me. So I will quickly skip that part, but yeah, I wish other parts will be useful for other audience. So that's my main 3 topics. The first one is about the employment situation, and the second one is about visa application for international talents at abroad, and the last one is about job hunting in China. So the reason why I mentioned the employment situation, because since I'm a recruiter, I receive a lot of job applications from different countries who wants to work in China. It's indeed the job vacancies is dramatically decreased recently because the visa issue, but I just want to show more data and show more policies from China governments that make people feel more confident in the future, because the policy for international talents in China is quite promising. So first is about, sorry, it's a little bit slow. Yeah, so first is about the population. So as we all know, a lot of foreign talents already left China due to the COVID, because the COVID happened in China at the very beginning. In China, we already released population data in April, as far as I remember. So this year they also investigate how many foreign talents in China. So this data, most media told us the foreign talents has been dramatically increased in last 10 years. But actually, if you see the data about the international students, what happened between 2018 and 2020, you could see a lot of people left China. So, so it means there's a lot of vacancies, a lot of job vacancies, and because before that, people got jobs, company need foreign talents, international talents in their company to explore the market. And a lot of people left China. So most of the companies have to consider the remote work or part-time for the international people outside of China. But also I received some questions from job seekers. They asked if this kind of new telework model will replace the traditional office work. I would say it will be really hard, or it will need a long time to happen in China, maybe need many years, because a lot of Chinese companies prefer employees work in their office. That's one thing. And another thing is, so those are the policies that you also could find through website or news from the Chinese government. All those news support support international talents stay in their own province. So basically, every province is try to attract and retain international talents, because China Development Research Center of the State Council is really popular council in China. Take how could I say, just just announced that China tried to resist the delocalization. So probably some people heard in some countries or in some place, some government or some business or some enterprise worry about the deglobalization, but actually in China is trying to resist the deglobalization, and they try to attract and retain more international talents, and that's in fact a lot of other provinces to make a lot of policies and implementations to retain more people. All of those zones will be like kind of opportunities for job seekers, for international job seekers. So so for this page, you could see for those contents, you could find you could search in Chinese government website, or you could just search like free trade zone or international job seekers, international talents. Then you could find some information about how those zones to attract the people, like what kind of specific policies, what kind of other job opportunities will be pop out there. And sorry, my bad. So another thing what I want to share is about the visa. So the reason why it's hard for international talents people outside of China come back is the visa issue. Of course, is the China's government try to control the pandemic situation much more strictly. But there is a way to come to China. So there are two ways. So one for the employment who wants to work in China. The process is you have to get the PO letter for employment intention and also the work permission notice. So work permission notice is come from the company, and the level, I mean, how hard to get this state visa right now is really hard, because only the large company with high tax payment could provide the kind of work offer first, and then the company will like produce some kind of documents. The official name is work permission notice to you, and then you carry this notice document and the PO letter to the Chinese government, Chinese embassy at the local country, and then apply visa. But the thing is really rarely to like happen to companies, because it's really hard. Most of the Chinese companies doesn't have so many high cons. And second one is you got Chinese COVID vaccine documentation, and also need to got work permission notice from the company. I know it sounds pretty kind of frustrated, because not all the countries could get the Chinese vaccine, but that's the policy. We can't change anything. So I just want to share this kind of reality. And another kind of visa that you could come to China is M visa. So M visa is for the people who want to come to China for the international business trade or technology expert. This one is also pretty hard to acquire, because talents must be not the talents has to prove what kind of business is like pretty important, is pretty initial for the development. Then you could, and for the corporation, then you could get a PO letter. And another option is you could get Chinese COVID vaccine, and then you still hold the valid APEC business card, then you could come to China. Either of what, any of those ways are pretty hard, I know, but it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be like the barrier to stop your steps to considering the futures or some opportunities in China, because there still has. And this picture is about which countries already got the Chinese vaccines. So if you're in those countries, you could ask the Chinese embassy in local countries and then see if you could get the Chinese vaccine. And third topic is about the job hunting. Actually, we already heard a lot from Jonathan, Shirley, and Petrus. So I will skip some part pretty quickly. And so first one, I just quickly summarized all the job searching steps for your reference, ensure that you could feel more like kind of comfortable to face the job searching problems. So each steps, you don't need to like strictly follow each steps. It's just give you more specific kind of reference. Then make sure you know which steps you're in, and then you know what will happen next. Then make you feel more like exactly preparing for what happened for the next. It won't feel so frustrated, or won't feel so like roller coaster feelings. And so today I will mainly introduce the step 1, step 2, and step 3. So for the rest of and step 4, but not so specifically introduce the step like interview parts or the step 5 and step 6. So for sorry. Oh, sorry, it doesn't work. Sorry, it's stuck here. Well, it's stuck here. All right, okay. Since I'm a recruiter, so most of other step, most of the steps, step 1 to step 4, I will introduce from my perspective, because in this way, I wish you could understand how most of the Chinese recruiters or headhunters, actually not only Chinese recruiters, because I also communicate with some headhunters from other international companies in other countries. They have kind of similar points for review resumes or for other parts. So from the recruiter perspective, so actually we view the resume really fast every day, because we receive a lot of resumes every day. So we don't have really a lot of time to check each points, really spend too much time to check each points and like try to assuming each skills, really spending too much time. So this is kind of our time schedule for view your resume. So for your basically personal summary, I normally spend 5 to 10 seconds. If some people could make a really attractive personal summary, so I will read a little bit longer, but mostly just the last 5 seconds. And then for the work experience, I will spend more time because it's more related to what we are looking for. And then the last part, we just spend 5 seconds. I'm sorry, it sounds pretty harsh. I think today what I'm sharing is kind of harsh, but it's kind of a reality for the recruiters, for our jobs, for my duties. So the reason why I want to share with you with this, because I received some resumes, actually a lot of resumes is not really attractive for the recruiters or the companies. So I would recommend you to change some parts or tailor your personal resume for a specific position, not just like, make some mistakes or something. So this is my advice for customize your own resume for positions. So first, you have to target audience. You have to find which enterprise and which position you are interested in. It's not really efficient to apply amount of positions without any purpose. Because from your perspective, you apply a lot of positions, but I think if most of the positions not related to your background, probably the recruiters in China won't reply to you efficiently. Then it will like kind of deprice you or destroy your confidence pretty fast. So I won't recommend you to apply a lot of different positions at the same time. So you have to target your audience at the very beginning and what kind of companies, what kind of positions you are interested in. And the second is about how you analyze this position. I know it sounds like not really connect to your job or your job hunting purpose, but actually it is. So I will illustrate some examples later. And then second, you could connect your skills, your experience, your values with this position and with these companies. Then you will leave a really impressive impression on the recruiters and the company. Then we would like to step further, like set up the interview and like communicate further with your application. And the fifth one is about the content. So you need to make sure the content of your resume need to be concentrate on this position and must be condensed. And you have to show the bullet points, not like you describe something in a really big block of contents is not attractive at all. And the last one, you have to prove the competencies. So it means you can't just like I do this job, like for example, I recruit people. That's not the way to prove your competency. So here is the first topic that I want, next topic that I want to introduce more specific about the target audience, how you target it. So there's a really fast way like this picture. So you just need to find a paper or laptop or anything. You write down what you want, what you're interested in, and what you have right now. So could be your industry, what you're interested in, and geography, like which country you want to work in, or which province, which city you want to work in, or what kind of career growth are you looking for, and what kind of company value or what you value from this company. And then you list the knowledge and the skill set you already has right now, and your net resource, and a lot of like for example your network resource means your current work experience or your previous internship experience, work experience could provide kind of like valuable resource for the company. So this is kind of network resource from your perspective. And then the career opportunity. So you could find a lot of opportunities through different ways. So not only just like looking through or searching through all the job channels like LinkedIn or some fixed job channels like ESET China. So that's really limited way. So if you really want, especially under this situation, probably you can't find so many positions. So I would recommend you to follow the industries, follow the China's policies, and follow a lot of like some organizations, for example, like the British China Chamber, something like that. Then you could find like some tendencies, industry tendencies. Then you could find some company view choose their or make decision to step into another country or into another industry, then that will be the chance there. So you could follow their news, the company news, the industry news, then you could find something there, definitely. For example, one of our client is automotive company who wants to extend market in the Europe. Then it happened. They hire a lot of people right now. Yeah. So another part is about the business value. So business.
Marina,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but the time is up, and we have another speaker. Yeah, if you could wrap up very quickly, and so perhaps we can still discuss one or two questions very quickly as well, and move on to the next presentation.
Sure. We can move on the next question. Actually, that's for the other parts is like is to need to spend too much time like compose the job description. That's like we can just switch to the Q&A questions part.
Thank you, Marina. So
No
just
problem.
two quick questions from the
Yeah, sure.
students, and I think this is quite a good question. So the first one, when applying to Chinese jobs or Chinese companies, do you think foreigners should submit their resumes in English or in Chinese?
I would recommend you submit your resume in English. Is a must kind of must requirements for recruiters to view. You don't need to like submit your Chinese resumes because for recruiters they always like when the company decide to hire international talents, they already make a decision that recruiters has to be able to read English. So English is is necessary. And the Chinese one, if you could write the Chinese version, then that'll be like huge plus because it means you already learned Chinese culture. You could merge in the Chinese companies pretty fast and communicate with your colleague pretty fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think another interesting question is about the degree. So
Yeah.
would it be more beneficial if the applicants have an international degree, I mean, a degree from a foreign universities, or the ones coming from the Chinese university? Or will there be like a different treatment of these two applicants, or how's the situation in China's job market?
I see. Actually, as far as I know, there's no difference. There's like if you're from top universities and like no matter in China or other countries, then that's great. I think the main issue for the company is how easy or how hard, if it's possible to acquire visa for you. For example, if you are new graduate with bachelor degree without any years of work experience, no matter in your own country or in China, it's very hard to apply visa here. But if you, if your new graduates with master degree and with really amazing score and got a lot of like prize or then it'll be easier to apply visa here. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, again, thank you, Marina, for sharing a lot of information. I think it's very insightful, especially for applicants who wants to apply for a job in China, because you have to really understand the job market. You have to really understand the culture as well and everything. And thanks for sharing that part today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
And now we have teacher Angela Chen from BLCU.
Hello, Nadia. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so hello everyone. This is Angela from Beijing Language and Culture University. Please give me a second. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so many guests today mentioned learning Chinese is very useful for your career here in China. So I am the Chinese teacher and coordinator from Beijing Language and Culture University. So today I would like to introduce some online Chinese and Chinese culture programs of our school. So those are the topics I will going to talk about today. So overview, introduction of our school, and then our online courses. And at last, we'll give some special offer for the students come to today's interview today. And then let's start for the first part. So I will introduce briefly about our school first. I think Chinese learners may already know about our university. So we are Beijing Language and Culture University, or BLCU. We are a university that directly under the Ministry of Education of China. So BLCU is known as the mini United Nations. It is the only university of its kind in China that specialized in offering Chinese language and culture courses to foreign students. And also in the area of teaching Chinese as foreign language and the promotion of Chinese culture, BLCU has the longest history, the largest size, and the most well-qualified academic faculty. So since its founding, our university has trained some like 200,000 foreign students from like many countries and regions. Then about ourselves, we are from the online education college. So we are providing distant education programs for Chinese learners and learners of other languages, no matter there's a COVID or not. We only do online education. So those are the programs that we have, basically 3 types, Chinese learning programs and Chinese culture programs. And also we do international Chinese teacher training programs. So the next about the learning mode of our online classes. So basically there are 2 types of online learning mode. So online courseware learning, so that is self-paced individual learning. So you watch the videos or do exercise based on the courseware online. And the other way is online live sessions. So you can do like live classes with a teacher online. Then we also have a 3rd type, which is a blended mode. So we can blend the online like courseware learning and live lessons together. Then about our programs. Oh, by the way, here I have a QR code of my WeChat. So if you want to like at me or like have more questions about learning Chinese, you can like scan this QR code and add my WeChat. Also, if you have any questions about the programs of our school, you can like leave a question for the Q&A part. We will answer that later. So today I will basically introduce 2 types of our courses. One is our Contemporary China and Chinese Culture course. So if you want to come here in China, right now a lot of Chinese can speak English. So maybe the language is not the first thing you need to do, but I think basically you need to learn some like information about our culture. So this course is designed for a student like who are interested in China or Chinese culture. And also this course is taught in English. So if you don't understand any Chinese language, you can also study this course. So for this course, we have 3 units. And each unit will have 5 topics, so 15 topics in total. So they're all taught in English. So this course is online courseware, so you don't need to like wait for other students. You can just learn, follow your own pace online by yourself. This course has been selected as a credit course by many American colleges, and also 53 officials of United Nations finished this course when they visit China. And also you can watch, let me share a video about this course. Let's try if you can you hear?
Yes.
Okay. This is our schoolyard.
China, one of the world's most ancient civilizations, has more than 5,000 years of history and culture. Following its opening to the world in 1979, China has dazzled the world with its tremendous growth and change. Today, China continues to draw the attention of the world with its rich culture and tradition.
Hi, I'm Dr. Chen Long, a professor from the School of Chinese Studies at BLCU. I've conducted courses on Chinese culture at University of South Carolina and lectured at many universities and institutions across the U.S. I'm going to lead you on a journey to explore the culture of contemporary China, as I did with many international students from these universities.
This certificate aims to help international students develop an understanding of Chinese culture and contemporary China and grasp the basic social and working skills of effectively interacting with Chinese people under cross-cultural circumstances. We will begin by introducing you to the geography and history of China, then lead you on a culture tour to learn about social interactions between Chinese people. We will then help you understand how to develop a professional working relationship with Chinese people and enterprises. Join us in exploring contemporary China and the Chinese culture. We hope you enjoy your journey.
Okay, then let me introduce more about the detail of this course. So we have 3 units. So fundamental knowledge of contemporary China, unit 1. So unit 2, social interaction in China. And unit 3, professional interaction in China. So for each unit, there will be 5 topics or 5 lessons. So this is the first unit. And then second unit. And then third unit. So 15 topics in total. So if you want to study the whole course for 3 units, you will follow this order. So an introduction video first, then first unit, second, third, and then you do a final test. So for each unit, the learning order is like this. So introduction, a video, and then the 5 topics, and then do a quiz for each unit. For each lesson, the course is going like this. First, an introduction video, and then a lecture video about 10 to 20 minutes. And then you need to do some reading or like video learning here. And then you need to do some like homework or exercises, and then watch the summary video, which is 2 to 3 minutes. And then at least at the last of each lesson, you need to do like a quiz or an assignment in 5 or 10 minutes. So each lesson will be like that. So if you finish all the 3 units and pass the final exam, you can apply for a certificate from our school like this. And right now, before the end of July, this course, Contemporary China and Chinese Culture, is having 30% off. And if you are only interested in 1 unit of this course, you can also join 1 of them, but you need to finish all the 3 units to get the certificate. All right, then next, I would like to introduce some Chinese language courses. So today I'm going to introduce 2 types of Chinese language courses. So first one is the general Chinese course. So you can join our 12 weeks long group Chinese class if you like just want to improve your Chinese generally. This course is designed for students from 0 beginner to HSK 5 level. So the courses are live online like this. So for 1 12 weeks long program will cost 1,350 RMB, which is about 200 something US dollars. So we have 10 different levels for this 12 weeks long program. So each level will take 12 weeks. So those are the 10 levels of our course and versus the HSK levels. For example, if you finish level 3, you will reach HSK 2. And if you finish level 7, you will reach HSK 4. If you finish all the 10 levels, you will reach HSK 5 level. So for one 12 weeks long course, you will get this. So you need to apply this course online from our school, or you can also apply it from China Admissions website. So when you finish your payment, you need to schedule a one-on-one placement test with me, which is live online. And also we will know your level, then we'll put you on the waiting list for the course. The course will start as soon as there are 3 students in a group. So for a 12 weeks long program, you will have 1 live class per week. Every week, we will provide you learning material for free. And also after class, you need to finish some homework. Then when you finish the 12 weeks, the last week, there will be a final test. If you pass the test, you can apply for a certificate from our school. Also, if you have Wechat, we will set up Wechat groups for the students and the teacher. So if you got any questions about learning Chinese during the week, you can ask the teacher on Wechat. And here goes a video example class about the course. And take a look. Okay, so this is the group class. And some students may need a more personalized learning, so you can take our one-on-one Chinese class. This course can suitable for students of all levels, and also the learning material can be personalized. For example, if you want to just practice oral speaking, we can do that. Or if you are planning to take HSK test in the future, then we can help you to prepare the test. And here goes the price list for this course. One class is 50 minutes. So one class will cost 150 RMB, which is about 23 US dollars right now. So the class packages have 30 classes to 150 classes, and you will get some discounts if you purchase more than 60 classes one time. Okay, so then next, I would also like to introduce about our business Chinese course. So this course is also a 12 weeks long program, but it's not just for live classes. You also need to do some online self-paced learning. So every week during the 12 weeks, every week you need to watch some videos online and study by yourself and do a homework. And then you take the lab lesson to practice what you learned for the online lectures, and to talk to your teacher and other students. And also the teacher will explain something about what you learned in this week. And after class, you need to do a weekly quiz. Then that is finish one week of your learning. That is for 12 weeks. And by the end of this 12 weeks, you also need to have a final test. If you pass the test, you can apply for a certificate from our school. And one level or one 12 weeks long program of our business Chinese course will cost 1,800 RMB. And also we have an outer version of the online business Chinese course. That is, wait a moment. So that does not include the live lessons, and is fully self-paced online course. So you only learn the videos and do homeworks. We have teachers will give you feedback about your homework, but you won't get lab lessons. And that is a little cheaper. So 800 RMB for that. You can also apply for this course from China Admissions, their website. Also here goes a video about it. You can take a look. Yeah, this is the business Chinese course. So our students are from those companies. If you learn Chinese with us, you may get classmates from those companies. And for certificate, if you finish any of the courses that I mentioned today, and also pass the final exam, you can apply for a certificate like this to prove what course you've taken. And at last, I have some special offer for the students coming to the event today. For the Contemporary China and Chinese Culture course, you will get 30% off before the end of July. And for each unit, you can also get a 30% off. Also, if you purchase any Chinese language course, which I mentioned today, you can get a Unit 3 of the Contemporary China and Chinese Culture course, which is professional interactions in China for free, but only for the students today. All right, then that's pretty much all for what I'm going to introduce. And here goes my contact information. And is there any questions, Nadia?
Yes, Angela, there are lots of questions for the online Chinese language program.
Okay.
So the first question, I think the student is referring to the business Chinese program. So there are three methods of training: self-paced, trainer only, and self-paced, and plus with the teacher. So which one out of the three would you say will show the best advantage or outcomes for students, and why?
Okay, so for business Chinese, you have two choices. One is like self-paced learning, just with the videos. The other one is video learning plus online live classes. We will recommend you to have the full course, which is combine these two together. So you do some learning by yourself and do some practice preparing for the class. And then you take the lab lesson. So you will get a chance to speak to a Chinese teacher and also practice your Chinese, what you've learned during the week with other students. Yeah, that is like languages is for communication.
Mm-hmm.
So we will recommend you to have lab lessons too.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think would be the opportunities after student taking this business Chinese course, and maybe what they can expect from taking the course itself?
Okay, so for the business Chinese course, that is more focused on the conversation that in working occasions. So if you're planning to work here in China or like work with Chinese people, so business Chinese will more focus on the languages that you will use in working like occasions. And this course is also designed for like O levels from beginners to about HSK 5 to 6. So like for all of students, you can learn this course from like a beginner's level.
Mm-hmm. So another question is, yeah, there is the information that HSK level will be changed, right?
Yes.
Will be up to HSK level 9. So for the general Chinese course, how is BLCU adjusting with the study curriculum to the new HSK level?
Okay, so right now, HSK having like 6 levels, but by the end of this year or early next year, they will add 3 more levels to the HSK test. But the current 6 levels won't like make any changes, and the 3 levels they were going to add it to the HSK test is more focused on like students will study Chinese languages or like very professional like languages. So for just basically speaking Chinese here in China for living or for working, I think HSK 6 will be enough. Yeah. But we will make some changes if HSK 7 to 9 is coming like next year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so right now it's not yet confirmed, right? Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So another question is a student who is super interested with the contemporary Chinese culture course. So
Okay.
if you could go back to the information, because I think she
Yes.
missed the information about the duration of the course and also the tuition fee of the course.
Okay, so here goes the tuition fee of the course. For the 1 unit of this course is right now 30% off is 210 RMB. And for the whole course, 3 units, that will be 630 RMB. So the duration, so the course will be available in 6 months if you purchase the whole course. So for your learning, you need to do there will be like 15 topics. For each topics, you will need to do like this thing, like introduction video, some lecture videos, and you need to study some like reading online, and then you do some homework, and then a little quiz by the end. Yeah, that what we do. For each lesson, we'll have 15 lessons in total. So here we go back here. Yeah, 15 lessons.
I think the final question, is there any options for students who prefer to take daily classes online?
Okay, so for our online education college, our courses is not like very intensive. That is more designed for students have work, like daily work or study in your country or in your place. So we don't really recommend students to have like daily classes. But yeah, you can have if you need, but you need to book our one-on-one personalized class. Yeah.
For the one-on-one class, they are free to choose the schedule, and they can also arrange the learning material. The learning objectives and everything as well, right?
Yes, that's right. We have teachers working from 8 in the morning until 9 in the evening. The last class at 9 starts at 9 p.m. 7 days a week. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good time as well, because considering students can come from different places. They might come from South America, where the time difference is so huge compared to China, so it should be still manageable somehow.
Yes,
right?
Sure.
Yeah, I think those are all the questions for BLCU, Angela. So again, thank you for spending the time today, and thank you for joining and sharing the online Chinese course by BLCU.
My pleasure. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye, Angela. Thank you. Right, so before we close the event today, there are some of the information that I'd like to share with you all. So allow me to share my screen shortly. Let me first set it up. So there are some informations about the courses that are mentioned to date, and also about the information about our platform and also our future events in case you'd like to join our next events. Right, so I hope you guys all can see my screen. And again, thank you so much for joining from the start until right now. We've spent almost 3 hours. So I promise I'll make this quick, because probably some of you are like, you have other things to do, or maybe you're hungry, because I am hungry. Right, so the 3 courses mentioned today. The first one is the Global Executive of Business Administration, so the Global EBA program at Shanghai Chiao Tung University. So scholarships is available for this program, and you can still apply for this program. So in case if you'd like to know more about the business environment in China, if you want to know more about the business culture, if you'd like to know more about marketing in China, or maybe being an entrepreneur in China, feel free to check out this course. And they also do have a chance for students to take a one-time free trial. So each of you can take a one-time free trial with Shanghai Chiao Tung University before deciding to enroll for this program. And you can check out the program. I have the QR code over there on the top right of your screen, I believe. So you can scan a QR code to check the program page, and then you can also apply for the scholarships, because I think it's very beneficial if you can get the scholarships, considering it's a huge discount. And other than that, You will not only get the access of the 12 weeks course with Shanghai Chiao University, but you'll also get the access of the 100 more clips that they have on their library. So it's such a good deal, especially if you're interested to know more about business in China, to better equip you with the knowledge of business in China. And other than that, these are the programs mentioned by Angela just now. So the BLCU group course, this is 12 weeks long, and then the tuition fee is 1,350 RMB, or in US dollar, it's 225 US dollar. And if you register now, you have the chance to get a free one module of the contemporary Chinese course. So it's worth about $50. So technically you will get a $50 discount if you register now. And other than that, there is also another course at BLCU. It's called the Contemporary China and Chinese Culture online course. So this is more of like a video course from BLCU. And then, yeah, so this is more of like a video course from BLCU, and then you will get a limited time offer of 30% off. So if you register for this course, you will get a 30% off. Yeah, and so the tuition fee is actually quite affordable. So the tuition fee is $150 for the whole course, but there are I think there are 3 modules if I'm not mistaken, but you also have the option to buy it separately if you don't want to buy the whole course. And then there's also another course for the online Chinese program. If you're into a more intensive programs online, you might want to take a look at this online Chinese language program. This is also another popular option that our students choose. This is from Dalian Yusof University of Information. So their online Chinese program is quite intensive. It's usually daily from Monday to Friday. So if you're interested, feel free to scan the QR code over there to go to the program page, and then you can get all the information you need and register if you want. So yeah, and also other than that, if you're maybe too busy, or maybe you just need some sort of support or extra help in studying Chinese, and if you are on HSK4 level Chinese, we do have this video course presented by Tianjin International Chinese College. It's $12 for 4 lessons video course. You can check it out on courses.china-admissions.com. So then you can check out the course, and then you can register for it as well. This is quite a course with high demands as well, because in the past few days since it's launched, a lot of students have registered for this course. And other than that, we have some more updates for the online events. If you would like to stay updated, you can just go to our website over there, chinaadmissions.com/online programs classes, or later you can follow us on our Wechat account. And then on our Wechat official account, we will publish some of the new articles and also the online events as well. So in case if you'd like to join our future online events, you can. Or if you'd like to join the Wechat group, because we do have a Wechat group about a free online classes about MBBS in China, about MBA in China. If you'd like to join our Wechat group, I don't think I have the QR code ready on the PPT, but you can email us later. I'll give the email address at the end of the presentation. You can email us later. Let me know that you wanted to join the Wechat group so I can add you in. And this is our blog. You can also check out our blog, chinaadmissions.com/blog, where we have a lot of useful information for you about studying in China, about applying to Chinese universities, about studying Chinese, and also about some tips about getting a job in China, about internship in China, about how to apply to Chinese universities. So all the tips you need about studying in China, about living in China, about working in China even, you can find it on our blog, China Admissions, and also you can find it on our YouTube channel, China Admissions as well. So in case for some of you who joined this event quite late, right? So you might miss some of the presentation from the previous speakers. Don't worry about it. You can just check out on our YouTube channel, because this event is also live streamed on our YouTube channel, China Admissions. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see the recording of this event on our YouTube channel as well. So you can follow the previous presentations in case you miss it, or you can also check out some other videos that we have. Mostly the topics on our YouTube channel are covering applying to Chinese universities. It's also covering about living in China, about some perspective from the Chinese community, some perspective from the Chinese passerby on Sanlitun in China, we had an interview. We had an interview in Sanlitun in Beijing where we asked some Beijingers some questions. So I think there are some exciting videos on our YouTube channel, and for sure my videos as well on YouTube channel, and also my other colleagues' videos on our YouTube channel where we share more about living in China. And you can also check out the student experience interview on our YouTube channel. We do interview some of our previous students that have successfully secured their admissions at Chinese universities. So they share their experiences being a student in being a foreign student in Chinese universities. They share the process of securing their admissions and their experiences so far. So I think it will be helpful, especially if you'd like to know more about China, especially if you'd like to know more about studying in China and living in China. Other than that, I think this is the last slide. So in case you need anything else from us, right, about applying to Chinese universities, or if you let's say want to go to the WeChat group, as I mentioned before, feel free to email. You can send an email about it, or you can just follow our WeChat official account about it as well. And then you can let us know that you wanted to be invited to the WeChat group so we can invite you there. Or if you want to apply to Chinese universities, because admissions for September 2021 intake is actually still open at some universities. So you still have the chance to apply at least until the end of June or the end of August. So please use the time well. You can just directly check out our platform, China Admissions, apply.china-admissions.com/search, where you can find all the programs offered by Chinese universities. And not only that, you can also filter the search results so you can see which are the available programs for September 2021. Or maybe if you want to apply for a later deadline, let's say in March 2022 or September 2022, you can also check out on our platform as well of the list of programs that are open for March or September 2022. And I think this is also something that a lot of students have asked before. A lot of students have asked before about the border. So as everybody knows, Chinese government decided to close the border since March 2020 because of the pandemic. And right now it's still partially open, but it's not yet open for international students. I know a lot of you have been asking us about it. And I know a lot of you are eager to come back to China, but what we can do now is definitely to wait for the Chinese government official update on this, and stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully everything will go back to normal again everywhere else, not just in China, but also in wherever you are. And hopefully the international travel will resume, and hopefully the border will be open back again anytime soon, so you could travel back and then study in China and enjoy and experience the life in China. So yeah, I really hope that this webinar today is useful for everybody. And I'd like to say my gratitude to all the speakers today who have participated in this webinar. So, and also all the support that we got from all the partners like App in China and also the Dot Connector. We also from SOSV China Accelerator, from Shanghai Chiao Tung University Global EBA Program, from Mart, from Beehive, from Hiro Career, and also from BLCU Beijing Language Culture University. So I do hope this information and this webinar is helpful for you. And again, thank you so much for joining. And if you have any questions still, just make sure to screenshot this page, to follow our social media account, and also to reach us out on our email address. And see you on the next event. Stay safe and stay healthy, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Have a nice Saturday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.